Yeah. We most certainly can.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Let's Have a Real Conversation podcast featuring
Dashing D.
AKA. You forgot your AKA already?
Dash.
Ay, ay, ay.
Dash.
I thought that was the whole agenda, to start pushing the new name.
Miss Dashing if you're nasty.
Oh, shit. All right. I've been hanging out with Days. Scared of both of y'all. I'm leaving that in, too.
Hi, Days.
Let me get another sip. Look at how we starting.
Oh, man.
You know you're going to call me when you see this now.
Of course.
He be like, yo, I saw the pod. Good looking on the shout out.
I mean, you gotta get, listen, you gotta
another
get,
sip.
This is a music podcast. I feel like it's perfectly appropriate.
This is not a music podcast.
I'm sorry, it's the entertainment podcast.
Thank you.
I feel like it's totally appropriate, you know?
Messing up our rebrand.
I know. Look at this is why we need a team.
Y'all see what I got to deal with?
Keep us in line.
Y'all see what I got to deal with? Messing up the rebrand. The same
hell.
one talking about, yeah, we want brand deals and sponsorships.
Yes, and I go hard for those. Holla at us, Fenty.
All right. So
Holla at us, Fenty.
we should.
I had to hit the dash cam real quick.
Yo, it's the lean back though.
Well, because I didn't realize how far away the dash cam was. Hey, Duncan.
Yo.
Bring your cup.
Oh, man. Yo, my cup already been on the screen like 4 times.
All right, did you introduce yourself?
Nah, I didn't even get to because you and Days and sponsors and lean back.
How Days get introduced before you? Come on, go ahead. Go ahead.
Sometimes you gotta put your friends first.
You gotta shout out the homies.
Hence why you're first. No, I'm just playing. And who am I? Oh, I'm JD, aka He Who Pods.
You sound so enthusiastic.
I was trying to get through it quick. That's it. Because I already, we spent a whole 5 minutes on
the
intro?
other.
Yeah, on other.
So what's going on? Speaking of other.
Wait, wasn't there something we had to talk about from last pod? It wasn't the tech problems, even though we should probably talk about the tech problems.
We did have some tech problems, but...
Wasn't there something else that we had to, start with?
I don't remember.
All right, well...
Chris is a bad intern, so... Maybe if Chris remembered, the rest of us would.
Well, I don't know if y'all caught it, but last pod...
Yeah.
We was doing the angry people on Instagram, and we put black screens up all over the place.
Yeah. Our bad, y'all.
It was an accident. If you caught it, sorry, but we removed it, fixed it, put up the new one.
Right.
Hopefully that's the one you saw. If you saw the original, sorry.
Yeah, it was a little bizarre.
It was bizarre. And also, that's the thing, our audio.
Yeah, our audio's been a little...
So our audio's been a little wonky the last couple episodes, but we figured it out. We had a team meeting, a family meeting.
Gotta have a family meeting.
Gotta have a family meeting sometimes.
Yeah.
And we gathered around the supper table.
All right.
That's not where you have a family meeting? At the supper table?
You ate supper in your house?
No.
Growing up? You had supper?
No.
Nah, my mom did used to call us to the dinner table though.
For supper?
And for dinner.
Oh, dinner, but not supper.
No, we didn't have supper.
Supper is for the whites.
And my mom was like...
The whites have supper.
My mom was the type of mom that wouldn't let you get up unless you ate all your food.
Yes. Yo.
I would just be like, all right, well, hunger strike.
Is this a safe space? No,
of course.
Right?
It's a safe space. Yeah. Tell us, please. Share your truth.
So we had that rule too.
Mm-hmm. What did you used to do? Oh my gosh, I'm worried.
Oh no, I always ate seconds, but there were certain things like vegetables that which is so weird because now I'm a vegetarian. But when you're a kid,
yeah,
I was like, nah, I don't want these vegetables. Mm-hmm. And then we had the same meals very often because we were not wealthy, and so there were times when I didn't want to eat that shit.
You want to eat the same thing? No,
I'm like, we had this 3 times this week.
Yeah.
I don't want this a 4th time. So I would sit there and be like, I don't want to eat this.
Yeah.
there's not. I can't make like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or something.
A sandwich for dinner?
So then,
Right.
my uncle came home from school, quote unquote.
Oh, school?
You know what I mean.
In my family, we call it vacation.
Oh, nah. My uncle, listen. My uncle was at school my whole childhood.
In my family, we
I
say...
was like, man,
we
he
say
must be
Uncle
really
went
smart.
away to vacation, yeah.
Oh, nah. He went away to school until one day I was like, wait a minute.
He been on a long vacation.
How long he gonna be in school without graduating?
Right.
I ain't never seen a degree.
Right.
He ain't never say nothing I couldn't understand. I'm pretty smart even though I'm like 8.
And for us, it was like, how come he never comes back with a tan?
Right.
Like, what? He was just in darkness? Like, what?
Yeah. So one day, I was pulling that move that I didn't want to eat whatever was cooked. And a man told me, all right, don't eat it. Go ahead, you could go. And I was like, my spidey sense started going off. I was like, something is not right here. Why can't I get up? So I asked him, I'm like, why is it that I could get up today? He's like, because you're not eating nothing the rest of the day. Anytime you get hungry,
you gonna come right back.
you gonna come right back to
Yes.
this meal.
Oh, yes.
Yo! And then my man told me, and if you keep playing, I'm gonna make you do what we had to do. And put it in a baggie and walk around with it in your pocket.
Oh my gosh.
My parents heard that and was like, no, you will not.
Go to your room.
You will not put it in your pocket. I was like, oh, why do you have stuff in your pocket? Yo, after that, I had mad questions. It's like, put it in your pocket. You walk around with food in your pocket? How much food?
You got rice and beans
But
in your
what happens if
pocket?
it's mashed potatoes? Yo, I almost got snuffed. He was getting angry. He thought I was mocking him. I was just really like confused. I'm like, but if it's mashed potatoes, won't it like smear over? It's like, get your smart ass out of here before I smack you.
So funny. So funny.
Yeah, so anyway, we had a family meeting and we are pretty sure that we found out what the audio issue is and we are working to rectify it. So by the time you hear this, hopefully this audio sounds clean and crisp and A-okay.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Fingers crossed.
Alrighty. Well,
Let's get this show started.
anything else we need to address before we jump in?
You got something you want to confess or some shit?
No, I don't have any apologies today. No confessions.
No, you sure? Breezy ain't do anything?
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to
I
that
haven't seen
man.
anything.
I haven't seen anything. But okay, let's kick it off. You want to switch it up this week and start off with something that isn't music?
Yeah, why not?
Well, I think we should start with... Actually, you know what? Let's start with music. And here's why. Music is not going to take us that long this week. All right, you're gonna blink. You're gonna JD Cam blink me
Because you just asked me, yo, you want to start off with something different?
Because I realized
You want to do it like that this time? I said, yeah. Let's do it. You the showrunner. I believe in you. Lead us, oh fearless leader.
Because I realized that.
And then the nigga says, actually, you know what? Let's start with music.
I've realized that because the way I have it, or the way we have it down, music is last. However, I realized that music is probably not going to take us nearly as long as the other things will. So, let's just get music out of the way today.
Okay, boss.
So, we need to follow up on Black.
6 Lack?
6 Lack released... He released the title track to the album that's coming out in a couple weeks.
Oh, it's the title track?
It's the title track.
So that's going to be the name of the album?
That's the name of the album,
Alright,
yeah.
so what's the name of the album?
Since I Have a Lover. Yeah, that's the title track. So...
That's an interesting title for the album.
Yep.
Since I Have a Lover. That could mean a lot of things. I like that it's kind of like ambiguous.
It is.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, they have it here. You can't... Oh, maybe he released 2 more? We didn't even know.
We ain't even know.
Because in Apple Music, everything is grayed out except for 3 songs.
Okay.
Well,
Well, we know the one song he released.
Since I Have a Lover, which again is the title track. It's very feel good. I felt like it was a very feel good song.
Yep.
I like it. I thought it was cool. You know?
I sent some reservations.
No reservations. I thought it was it's not something that I would normally want to listen to. That's just not the sound that I gravitate towards, but I liked that it was very feel good. I felt like it had a lot of I don't know if I'm saying this the right way, playability. Like, you could go back to it. I feel like it's something that could play on like top replay value on like a top 100 radio station.
Yes.
And I like that. I think I like that it's coming from him and not from the typical pop type of artists, or, you know, because you have like, I don't know, your Justin Biebers and your Taylor Swifts of the world, right? That will always land on those types of spaces. But this sounds like something that could play in a lot of different arenas.
Yes.
So I dig that. I dig that for him.
I think very soon we will see Usher rollerblading to it.
Yeah, it is an Usher rollerblade. What did you? Oh, right. So it's roller coaster music.
There you go. I want to steal your thunder. You know what I'm saying?
That's my little thing. I don't know that it's a real term. It's mine though. I say it all the time.
You gotta put out a roller coaster playlist.
Oh, I would love to put out a roller coaster playlist.
Do it.
Yeah, I can do that. Cause you know, you gotta have the roller coaster music. Roller coaster music is good for a lot of different things. You know, first of all, just to clear up what roller coaster music is, it's literally the music that you would hear if you were watching a movie or a TV show where there's a roller coaster scene. It's a very specific type of music. Again, like a Dua Lipa, or like one of Justin Bieber's upbeat songs, or this song is perfect for it.
It is.
SZA's latest album has some roller coaster tracks on it. Like the things that, you know, people are having a good time, people are being joyful, people are having fun. That's what roller coaster music is. It's mostly made by white people, I gotta be honest. Because it's a specific sound. It's very like pop centric, if you will. So that's not a slight to anybody. That's not to be shady. It's just the truth. It's usually top 40 music, which we know a lot of, you know, specific types of, okay. Anyway, so y'all know what top 40 looks like, so I don't have to say much. Like, that can be fact checked, okay? But yeah, like I said, it's a very specific sound. Obviously, there are other sounds that make it to the top 40, the top 100. I'm talking about a very specific type of beat, a very specific type of feel to the song. So that's what I thought of it. I thought it was cool. Like I said, it's a song that I would probably won't go back and play it a whole lot, but it's a song that I wouldn't mind hearing, you know, out and about and, you know, on the radio.
Got it. I enjoyed it as well. Yeah. I don't know where I'd hear it because I don't frequent roller coasters and I don't rollerblade with Usher. But I would put it on like clean the crib. To me, that's the kind of vibe I get. I get like, you know, jam, rock out. It's an interesting sound to hear from Black. Mm-hmm. It makes me curious what else is on this album, especially now that you've told me it's the title track, because I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So that makes me really curious about what the album sounds like. But honestly, I'm just happy that there's music, because that was our worry.
Yeah.
And a couple days later, he put out the song.
Yeah. And
so, yeah.
One of the singles is called A Letter to My Fans. So now I'm really curious.
All right, that makes me nervous. That makes me nervous. But I'm glad that there's music from Black.
Yeah.
And I look forward to hearing his album when it comes out later this month. And y'all know what we gonna do up here. Y'all know we gonna come up here and talk about the album. So.
Oh, he's basically saying, It's sweet. It's a sweet letter because you know you can look at the lyrics these days very easily.
Nah, you cheating now. Come on, son.
He's basically apologizing for not putting out an album in the past 5 years and saying that the process takes time. It's very short. It looks like it's a quick little. It's only a minute.
I feel like I should have got a large.
What do you think about that? What do you think about him putting out a song that is a letter to his fans saying, "Sorry, I haven't been around." How do you feel about that?
I gotta hear it.
Okay.
And don't play it.
I'm not gonna play it. No, I'm just.
You're not getting my live reaction in real time for free.
No. Okay.
You gotta subscribe to our Patreon. No, I'm just playing. We don't have a Patreon.
Listen.
Here it comes.
Listen.
Here it comes.
We could have a Patreon by the end of the day. What do you mean? Subscribe. Yes, subscribe to our Patreon. Come on.
What we gonna
Who wants to be a Patreon? Music reactions would be great, actually.
They gonna pay for that?
To see you blink after you hear 6 Lax letter to his fans.
If there's a picture and I'm not gonna blink.
Yes,
I'm gonna go off.
But that's what I'm saying. Of course they're going to pay for it. I mean, I can't tell y'all what y'all gonna pay for, but I'm just saying this is quality content that we would be putting out there.
They're not even gonna get extra episodes.
Oh, they'll get extra content. If they're paying for it, they'll get it. We all have a price. We all have a price. Why did you make that face? Do you not think that's true? Do you not think that's true? Are there things that you think just doesn't matter what it is? There's no price.
I do think there are things that there's no price.
That's true. There are. You're right. But for this
content,
yeah.
There's a price
for
content.
Price, right? Yeah.
Yes.
That's kind of what I mean. I mean more content, not like life things. Like
depends what we talking about.
You know.
Content. Everything is content today, so
right.
That depends.
Well, there was more music that came out. J. Cole and his K-pop song.
It's actually not his song.
Oh, J. Cole is on a K-pop song?
J. Cole is on a K-pop song.
How did that make you feel?
Listen, I don't care. I'm happy to get more J. Cole music.
Well,
honestly.
did you like it? I guess is my
it's
real
cool.
question.
It don't sound like a J. Cole song. I mean, it's a K-pop song, so
right.
If they want to cut J. Cole a check, I'm always happy to hear some J. Cole. But now that shit, I'm probably never gonna hear again.
No, I mean,
unless I want to hear that.
Neither will I.
Because I don't know where that gets played. Don't even guess.
Wherever K-pop gets played.
Exactly.
And where's that?
No clue. On YouTube?
Somewhere, because apparently K-pop is thriving.
Allegedly, I don't know if this is true, but allegedly the person whose song it is one of the former members of BTS.
Oh, so this is a big deal. This is a big collaboration.
Yeah.
I dig that. Good for J. Cole.
Get the money. Run
Why
it up.
not? Because everybody has a price.
There you go.
Everybody has a price.
I mean, it's very bouncy. It's pop. I mean, if you ever were curious, I was never curious what J. Cole sounded like on a pop record.
No.
Never ever was I curious. But in case you were curious, where's the JD cam? In case you were curious, now you have it.
Here we are.
There it is.
There you go.
I couldn't help it. I couldn't. Sorry. I couldn't help it.
Excuse our inside jokes. So, anyway. Rate it. Give me a rating.
On what?
J. Cole, the K-pop song with J. Cole.
A 7? I heard it once.
7?
Twice.
Okay.
I heard it twice. And like I said, I'll probably never hear it again. It's a pop song. If you like pop, it's a 10. I mean, I don't know.
If you like pop, it's a 10.
Probably it sounds like a pop record. I don't
Okay.
know. I mean,
Why don't
it ain't Michael Jackson pop. It's,
no.
you know what kind of
and
pop it is.
Whose pop is Michael Jackson's pop?
Next conversation.
So,
They got Patreon. Subscribe to our Patreon. No, I'm just playing.
So, let's talk about something you liked.
Uh-oh.
Let's talk about something that you're gonna get excited about, that you're gonna want to talk about, because it seems like you're not really enjoying the K-pop conversation.
Oh, I was gonna say I like black song. I mean, the K-pop song. There's not much. I don't listen to pop like that. So
I don't either. So I really don't have. But
and I definitely don't listen to K-pop. I mean, this is the first K-pop song I probably ever heard in my life.
I share your sentiment though. Anytime J. Cole releases music,
yeah, I'm a huge J. Cole
fan. Something you want to hear, right?
I almost got a J. Cole lyric tattooed on me a couple years ago. Me and my best friend.
Yeah.
You know him as Tez. Mm-hmm. Me and Tez almost got a J. Cole quote tatted on us. Wow. And so, yeah, I'm a big J. Cole fan.
It's very romantic.
Yeah, we got a different tattoo. Oh. It's a Joe Budden quote.
Of course, yeah, of course. Because, again, very romantic.
Listen, you know.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So, Lil Wayne featuring DMX.
Produced by
Swizzy.
What's it called? Can't Nobody.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. I think that's true.
Are you fact checking?
I'm fact checking.
Fact check that shit, man.
No,
and you check the shit out of those facts.
And I just want to point out, when I'm looking at my phone while we're on the pod, I'm either fact checking or looking at our list. So I don't want people to think that I just be on here, like, you know,
on your phone,
playing around on my phone. I'm actually
Tetris.
I'm actually working. I'm actively
Fruit Ninja. What's it called? Fruit Ninja.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The game where you gotta slice the fruit like a ninja. It was super famous. It's in Dave and Buster's. You don't have to lean back if you set the camera up properly, you fool. You gonna lean back every time after you set up the camera?
Lean back.
See, Chris? That's why I told you it's better to let her set it up. Because then she can only blame herself. You see?
See, my niggas don't dance. We just pull up our pants and do the rock away. Now lean back.
Now sit dunking. Now sit dunking. Now sit dunking.
All right. You know what? Anyway, let's move on. So
Can't Nobody?
Can't Nobody. Yes, I was just fact. Yes, Can't Nobody, featuring DMX, produced
Can't
by...
with a K, right?
Can't with a K.
Chris, they trying to steal your swag, kid.
Chris, don't let them do it. Chris, don't let them do it.
They trying to steal your swag.
Don't let it remember how Reasonably Shady went down, Chris.
Sue them.
Okay? Sue them. All right?
Well, wouldn't Chris' parents have to sue?
Nah, because Chris with a K is not his name.
Because Chris with a K is...
Like, Chris with a K is his moniker at this point. So, he could do it.
What's his name?
Christopher.
His name is Chris.
Christopher.
With a K.
With a K.
And so, who gave him that name?
Well, we called him Chris with a K.
His parents gave him that name.
But his parents gave him the name Chris. Honestly, shouldn't we get money for Chris with a K? Chris, follow paperwork, but make sure you put our names on it.
Subscribe to our page. Alright, I'm done. I'm not going to say it again. I'm sorry. The funny shit is we never say subscribe anything, and I'm just running with it. Like if we even have a Patreon.
I mean, but like I said, we can have a Patreon by the end of the day.
Yes, I know. I'll get an email in about 20 minutes after me and Chris leave when the pod is done. Be like, oh, here's our Patreon login. Make sure you put some new content up there. Thanks.
Okay. Can't Nobody.
Can't Nobody. Yo. Okay, so I'm a big DMX fan.
Fire.
And I was really nervous when I heard about this song existing. And then I went and pressed play and I heard DMX talking. And I was like, oh, man. DMX. Oh. All right.
R.I.P.
Little sentimental.
Yeah.
And then, the song starts. I'm like, oh, okay.
Wayne came through with the come through.
Well, first, Swiss gave him a great alley-oop. He put that shit right by the basket. Yeah. That's one of those songs. So, before y'all jump me, I just want to explain. There's certain beats that you could just say anything over. I feel like certain artists, I don't want to say names right now, no, I'm just playing. I feel like there's certain artists who made a career out of getting super hot beats and just saying fucking anything on them.
Yes.
This is one of those beats you could get away with that.
Yeah.
But Lil Wayne for once did not just say anything on it.
No,
He was like, "Oh, I'm really gonna
fire.
rap on this shit."
Yeah, he did.
I appreciate that.
And he said something like it too. When you listen to it, he basically says something like, "I gotta get DMX on a track" or something like that.
He said, "I need a beat." He said, "Only Swiss could give me a beat with DMX on it," or something like that.
Yeah, and I feel like
pull
that.
up the lyrics. You say you could pull up the lyrics, no?
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of I feel like that's kind of why he went so hard. Like imagine, DMX is gone now, and you would want to do right by him, right?
Yeah, and the sample
as
too.
another rapper, like you wouldn't want it to be. Oh, I can't pull the lyrics for this. You would want it to be. Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Because he says, "I need a beat with DMX on it." That's how the verses end, right?
I think so. I'm looking. Yeah, all I need is a beat with a DMX sample.
Bow. There you go.
He says, best rapper, ex-trapper, dress dapper, Swizzy gave me a headbanger, a neck snapper, X Factor, make a rapper an example. All I need is a beat with a DMX sample. And then
I didn't even know y'all was going to get bars today from Dash. Usually she just sing. Today, she gave y'all the bars.
Yeah, I did.
Anyway, I like the song. It was a good surprise.
Too.
I was very nervous because I get nervous anytime you take something great and allow somebody to remix it or do something with it. Mm-hmm. But I think it was well done.
I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. I didn't know what I was gonna hear. I did I'm gonna point out to our listeners that when you put
breaking
it on
the fourth wall.
Yes, when you put it on the list,
like She-Hulk,
you put a fire emoji next to it.
I had to give you a heads up.
Almost as if you were telling me that it was gonna be good.
Mm-hmm. Gotta communicate. You know what I'm saying?
I saw that. I said, "Oh, okay. I need to listen to this, don't I?"
It's a good one.
But no, it's a great song. I think Lil Wayne. I think Lil Wayne did a good job, especially they're gonna get me for calling him Little, but
I think by now they know that
they
that's
know
what
that I
you do.
enunciate.
Yes.
But yeah, I think he did DMX's name proud.
Yeah.
And I think that's what was most important here, at least for me. Because if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it. You can't just take a beat
and as much as I criticize Lil Wayne, I can't think of too many other rappers who would have been able to do that beat justice. Not a lot of artists could have went on there and do what he did.
Agree. And I also want to point out, I'm going to say what I said off pod about Swizz Beatz. But we know that Swizz is very talented. We know that he can absolutely create a fire beat. Yes. I knew immediately, obviously I knew that he was the producer, but as soon as it came on, I said to you, "Oh yeah, that's Swizz Beatz."
Yeah.
But what I was saying was that it sounds like sometimes his beats sound like he goes to church. He goes to church and he comes back home and he's like, "Wait, I'm still hearing that hymn in my head. Wait, let me, Alicia,
you see?
Leash, I'm going to the studio."
Nah, leash. You think that's what he calls it?
I think he calls a leash.
I think she smacks the shit out of him if he tries to call her that.
Nah, I think he calls a leash.
And the church folk about to destroy you in the comments.
It can't be any worse than the Church of Hip Hop.
Nah, that was beautiful.
I went back to our Church of Hip Hop episode.
That episode
a
is
few
great.
days ago. I was posting some clips because we talked about Biggie so much, and it was the anniversary of Biggie's death a few days ago, and you think what I just said was bad? No.
Oh yeah, I was blasphemous.
Yes.
And I said the Catholics started COVID.
We were wildly sacrilegious.
I said the Catholics started COVID.
You did. You're still saying.
That's what I said. I'm just saying, repeating what I said then.
No, but you keep repeating.
I mean, It was jokes. It wasn't serious.
Anywho,
Moving right along.
moving right along. Okay, so, you know, I feel like we don't talk about the ladies enough. I mean, we talk about the ladies, but, you know.
I mean, we did a whole segment on Mary J. Blige thighs.
We did. And we still love Mary J. Blige.
Amen.
Her thighs honestly, her thighs should be like some sort of wax figure or some sort of mold. Something should be in the African American History Museum in DC. Just Mary's
They got the clona.
Yeah. And
clone her thighs?
Yeah. Clone her thighs, something. Just put it in a glass case with lights, uplighting, really good uplighting, and just we can admire just her legs,
the Blige thighs.
Yeah, because they have that. They have the section in the museum that has like culture and arts and music and entertainment.
That's culture and art.
All of it.
It's both.
All of it.
It could go right in the middle of both hallways.
Black beauty.
Amen. Amen.
So let's talk about one of the ladies.
Okay, what you got?
SZA.
Oh man, can I just tell a quick story time?
Yeah.
I went to drop my daughter off the other day.
Uh-huh.
I was like, yeah, Sunday night, you know, we passing through 34th Street.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, why is it like a zoo out here? Like, 34th Street is always packed, but it was extra packed.
Like something was happening at MSG.
It's like, yo, something's going on. It ain't a Ranger game. Mm-hmm. This don't look like the Ranger crowd. This like some real grown and sexy shit. The ladies had on the see-through stuff and a lot less clothes. Oh. Yeah, I was looking.
You was having a good time out there.
Well, first I was with my daughter, so I just took a quick, a glance. I couldn't do no quick. Just, I saw that. Oh, something out the periphery.
Okay, I saw that.
I saw it. I can't say nothing. I can't really enjoy the look. I just, okay. That's what that was? All right, it was a titty half hanging out. All right, I can't look over there. When I'm with my kid, I try to do the opposite, So, like, if I see a titty completely hanging out, I'm just like, oh, no, I'm not going to look at that titty. I'm going to look completely the opposite way. I might even tell her to walk away. I'm like, oh, come on, let's go this way. She's like, Dad, but we got to go that way. No, titties, we can't go that way. We're going to go this way today.
Okay.
So I dropped her off, and I was like, man, we left that area, and as we were walking away, because we were on 8th Avenue going towards 6th Avenue to the F train, I'm painting y'all a real vivid picture. I'm putting y'all in New York City right now. Our listeners in Africa, I hope I'm just playing.
And this is fine, because, music was light this week, so go for it. Tell your music story.
So, we walking from 8th Ave to 7th Ave on 34th Street. MSG takes up the whole block. And all of a sudden, what I hear? Scalpers.
With t-shirts and tickets?
Got the t-shirt in one hand. I ain't got no props. He's like, scissor shirts, SZA, get your scissor shirts. And I'm like,
I might kill my ex.
I instantly remembered your Nas story. And was like, oh,
same thing, right? Yeah.
Like, it's SZA.
Yeah.
And right next to him was another dude. Yo, got them SZA tickets. Yo. Touching his nose. Yo. SZA tickets. Yes. I got them SZA tickets. See SZA tonight. I said, damn.
This is her first arena tour.
Damn.
Kicked off a couple weeks ago.
Damn.
Yep.
So I took baby girl to the meeting place, and on my way back, man, now I got to enjoy the view.
Yeah.
It was a nice view. That's all I'm gonna say.
It was a nice view.
There's a lot of nice views.
A lot of skin tight.
You ever see Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the episode when Jeffrey's doing poetry as some like fake poet they made up?
Yes.
He said, cannons to the left of us. Cannons to the right of us.
Yes, I remember that.
That was me on 34th Street.
Cannons were everywhere. Yeah.
Wow. There's just packs of them walking together. The ladies, they go together.
Yep.
Dudes might be like, oh, fuck these niggas, man. They don't want to go. I'm going to get my ticket. I'm going by myself. Fuck these niggas.
Nah, dudes
but the
be
ladies,
like, I'm going to go with my girl. Which is basically what I saw at the Nas
I'm talking about the single guys.
Oh, well, yeah.
Single guys, they be like, yo, I want to see SZA. These niggas play. Yo, fuck it. I'm gonna go.
I can see that. too.
That's what they do, you know. So, but the ladies, single ladies, they call everybody.
Oh, yeah,
They
it's a
call
whole crew.
Keisha and everybody else.
It's a whole crew.
It beats, man. That's what was walking by. I just said, oh man, 12.
That's what was walking by?
12 of them. Well, because I was sitting
Now
there.
who-
At one point, I was in a waiting area just waiting for my train.
I'm just saying you said
know.
that's what. I thought you
What?
meant who.
Who?
Never mind.
What you mean?
You said that's what was walking by. So I'm
Packs
saying,
of women.
I'm saying you mean that's who was walking by?
Who was walking by? Packs of women?
'Cause
Sure,
they're people.
whatever. Oh yeah, but I'm saying like packs though. Like
No,
packs were
I-
what was walking by.
I get it.
Packs of women. Yeah, of
Packs of
course.
women.
Yeah, no, listen. It was lovely. It was a lovely
Yeah,
sight.
good time.
I was like, man, if this train comes late, it's okay tonight. Like
Right.
normally I'd be in a rush to get home
Right.
after I drop off baby girl on like a sleepless weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I had enough energy to miss the train that night.
You had enough energy to miss the train. All right. Okay, so SZA was named. Is that the end of your story?
I guess. I mean, you know, if y'all want more sauce, just let me know.
Is there more sauce? It sounds like you've given us.
I just appreciated that there were all types of women going to see SZA.
I mean, I would imagine there.
Because
are
at
lots
first,
of different
I'll be
types of
honest,
women
like
that go to see
a
SZA.
lot of the people when we first were getting off the train and like I said, walking from 8th to 6th,
Yeah.
there's a lot of sisters.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of beautiful black women looking good, like I said. But then like when I got back to the train station after I dropped off and I was waiting, I saw everything. It was the whole everything, the whole spectrum of ladies. It was black, it was white, it was Logic.
So SZA has been named on March 1st in the middle of her tour, about a week and a half after she started her first arena tour that JD has very eloquently shared with us.
I'm just trying to put y'all in the
His,
scene.
little SZA.
I didn't even
tour
tell y'all
story.
about the lace tops they was wearing. Like I could listen. I didn't know SZA brought out the lace. I thought that was like Rihanna and the Fenty.
No, I feel like SZA does bring out
People
the lace.
was wearing lace.
Because I feel like SZA is very much.
It was you know what it was?
Empowering.
It was
right?
cute and cold. That was everybody's thing.
Yeah.
You could tell everybody was like, I don't give a fuck if I'm cold tonight.
I mean,
I'm going to see SZA.
Because you have those moments. Where
And
you-
maybe they was trying to find a dude to have for the weekend.
to have.
To keep satisfied. You know the lyrics.
A dude to have for the weekend. They were trying to take a lover. Is that what you're saying?
You know, I just keep him satisfied on the weekend.
Got it. Okay. Well, now we can move on. So, SZA.
Yeah, what was she named on March 1st? Women's History Month.
On
the
March
beginning of
1st,
Women's History Month. What was she named? Tell them.
She was named Billboard's 2023 Woman of the Year.
Okay, but what does that mean though? I'm not trying to be a jerk. I just never heard of this.
Well, Billboard has in March they do their Billboard Women in Music Awards.
oh,
So that's like one of their highest, if not the
I've never
highest
heard of
honor.
this.
Yeah, you can actually go to it.
yo, when
I think
is
it would be no. It happened already. We already
Come
established that. I just realized today that you can actually the tickets are reasonably priced.
So get our tickets right now for
And-
next year. So we could put some lace on and go see SZA.
Fenty.
Yo, I cannot wait to see this video
Call
play back
us.
and see your face when I said that.
Call us because we
Oh,
need,
man,
we need
that was good.
outfits apparently for
Yo.
for this event. So yeah, this happened on the 1st. This happened on the 1st. They honor. There's different awards. They honor. I would say maybe about 15 to 20 women with different
Okay.
awards. I will also point out that she is.
She's fine, yes. We know. We know SZA's
I will
fine.
also point out.
That she got a BBL?
No. That Lotto also won an award at the same.
Oh, I
the
should have
same,
said Lotto instead of Logic. You see?
That Lotto won an award at the same event. Actually, it looks like it was about 10 women who won awards, but Lotto won the Powerhouse Award.
Okay. Not like a newcomer award? Is that the newcomer award?
No, I don't think that's... No, they have a Rising Star Award, actually, which went to Doechii. Okay, so, but basically what the event is, it recognizes music's top female artists, producers, and executives for their contributions to the music industry.
That's really
their
cool.
Communities and beyond. So there were, like I said, I think there were about 8 to 10 women who were honored. But she was, I think that Woman of the Year is actually their highest
top
honor. And that was given to SZA. So I just wanted to point that out.
That's super
I
dope.
thought that was really cool.
Yo, we need to go next year.
We should. We should.
Absolutely.
I'm totally down to buy a ticket and get dressed up and go.
Put some lace on. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna find me some.
You want to find some lace?
I'm not.
I think you would look good in like a long sleeve lace number.
Pineapples. I'm uncomfortable. Pineapples.
All right. So let's move on from music. Well, sort of. I wanted to bring this up since the other day about HBO and what they've been doing lately. I just think it's cool that we're re-entering this era of televising concerts. I remember being young. I don't know how old I was, but I remember when Janet Jackson was on her Velvet Rope tour, and that it was a huge deal that it was going to be on HBO. And back then, HBO wasn't as accessible as it is now.
This is true. Premium package.
Right. So everybody didn't have HBO.
Or the box.
Everybody didn't have HBO. So it would be like this huge thing for you to have your concert televised on HBO. It was like a whole event. Saturday night, 8 p.m. Like they would do all this promo. It was a big deal. And I remember piling up in my parents' bed and watching the Velvet Rope tour with them, which was now in hindsight, that video that goes around of Janet putting the guy in the chair and like, you know, that very sexy video of Janet and one of her fans.
Yes.
I watched that with my parents. I guess.
You want Chris to edit that out?
What, that I watched it with my parents? I mean, no, because that was the thing to do back then. And they would just be like, oh, come, there's the concert's coming on, let's all watch it together. I don't think they expected that, but yeah, I watched it in real time. And I think there was someone else who was like super huge, and I can't remember right now, around that time too. But this was like a really huge thing. So now it's coming back. They've done Lizzo recently.
And The Weeknd, right?
They did The Weeknd. I think The Weeknd might have been the latest one that they did.
I saw that. I didn't watch the concert. I saw the banner when I opened the HBO Max app.
Yeah.
I'm old. It used to be HBO Go, y'all.
It did used to be HBO Go.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Yeah, it used to be HBO Go and then HBO Now, I think.
I thought HBO Now was a separate app.
It was. Because one was if you had a cable subscription and the other one was if you didn't. They were two different apps at some point.
Yeah,
and then
that I know. I just never knew the difference.
And then they merged them. I don't know why they were two different apps. I guess because at that point, the streamers didn't have the capability to merge different titles the way they do now, but I don't know. Possibly. But yeah, so I just thought it was really interesting. I think that we learned once COVID happened, I think we learned that there are different ways to consume certain types of things. So like concerts, for instance, we had Versus that showed us that, you know, people are perfectly fine with being in the comfort of their own home and watching a concert or watching people perform. Yes. So I think that
and you don't have to give up a limb.
Right. And I think that this resurgence of, you know, televised concerts, because it's not just HBO. The reason I point out HBO is because they're the ones who I feel like started it, and now they're bringing it back. But Amazon has done this as well. Apple. Apple has done it. Kendrick Lamar did his. Kendrick Lamar's concert is on Amazon. So it's this thing that's coming back, and I think it's really cool, and I think it's also great for, like you said, you don't have to spend tons of money to see good live music.
Right.
And it makes it way more accessible for people who can't get to a concert for one reason or another.
I agree. I remember having a bunch of friends over because before a Mike Tyson fight, pretty sure it was Mike Tyson, there was a Jay-Z concert on HBO Max. And none of us had ever seen Jay-Z live, so this was the closest we were going to get.
Yeah.
And we were just like elated.
Yeah.
We were so happy to be able to just be there and, put it on the speakers and blast the shit and have a blast. And my dad, he just let all the teenagers come over. It was a whole squad of us just rocking out Jay-Z concert. He's like, but what time that shit finishes? I want to see Mike. And they're like, no, Mike gotta wait. It's Jay-Z time. So I think it's really cool. I agree.
I thought it was really cool. I think it's really interesting that it's coming back, and I appreciate it because I don't necessarily want to pay to see everything, right? There's certain concerts that I think we could all individually have, like our artists that we would pay anything. I mean, maybe not anything, but we would pay. Everybody has a price, right? There are certain things that we would pay for, and there's certain things that we wouldn't. But I may not have wanted to see The Weeknd, but I don't mind watching it if it's available to me on a streaming service I already pay for. So, or
and the opposite,
or someone in the squad pays for it because
That's true too.
You know how that goes.
Sure do. And the opposite, like if there's someone you really want to see, like a Kendrick, who you can't afford to see their concert, or it's too far, or you don't have enough money to go, or whatever, then now you possibly can. And so I think that's cool too.
Like, okay, this is a good example. I would never, ever go to Rolling Loud.
Oh, but you stream
for any reason, right? But it's really cool that you can stream Rolling Loud performances.
Yep. I definitely watched J. Cole last year after.
J. Cole was amazing at Rolling Loud.
In the rain?
Yes. He was amazing at Rolling Loud. I would have never gone to see that, but I'm glad I got to see it.
Can you imagine being there and J. Cole comes out and you've been waiting all fucking day to see J. Cole and then it starts raining? What you do?
Yeah.
You just get rained on, right?
You would just get rained on. That's kind of like when I went to see Kanye. Kanye was... I feel like that's a weird statement coming from me. But this was a long time ago. This was years ago. I went... someone bought me tickets to Governor's Ball, the festival, and Kanye was headlining. And it was a rainy weekend. So we were on Randall's Island. It was muddy everywhere. I wore Converses that never saw the light of day again.
I was about to say, yeah, those were probably garbage after that.
Oh, they were garbage. And yeah, Kanye started going. It was like Kanye was the last person to perform at the festival. Yeah. Period. Like he was Sunday night. So we went. We're waiting. He finally comes out. And it starts to rain. But it was cool. It was cool until he went on a rant. And then we were like, all right, we're going to go home now. Because even back then. But, well, right. Especially back then, honestly. But yeah, I just thought that was, I thought that was pretty dope.
Is there another music topic?
No.
So should we speak about Kanye while we're talking about Kanye?
Sure. Sure, you have the details. I don't really have too many details about the Kanye thing.
And there are not a lot of details available yet, but it has been said that, Kanye was disowned by everyone and written off and everything. His deals were all abolished. And there were very public statements basically saying we're not fucking with Kanye. Well, since then, it's been publicized, it's been all over the internet and the media that Adidas is having a very hard time selling the leftover Yeezy inventory.
Yep.
And so they have now come out and said that there has been an agreement reached with Kanye
Just pulled it up.
to sell the remaining inventory of the Yeezy Adidas sneakers. And so this is a brand new deal that they have reached together because they can't move the units.
Well, I would imagine that they couldn't move the units because if everybody said take it off the shelves, how are they supposed to sell? Who are they selling it to?
Well, first they took them off the shelves. And then they said, well, we're going to sell what we have left.
Right.
And that shit ain't moved.
And that's not moving. Well, because I think it also, like, I think people got to a point, I think that was the breaking point, not just for the corporations that he was associated with, but for a lot of people who were still trying to hang on. It makes total sense why people wouldn't be buying his shoes.
So you don't think they're going to sell now?
I don't know that they will.
Oh, I think they're going to sell out.
I don't know that they will. I don't know why I don't know why they didn't sell out already.
Because
I think if they had sold out already, then I would be like, oh yeah, well, you know, the sneakerheads, the diehard Kanye fans.
But that's what I'm saying. The diehard Kanye fans were not buying them because Kanye was removed.
Oh, so you're saying now that he's reached an agreement with them, you think that it's almost like, oh, okay, we don't have to protect him or help him out.
Yes.
In order to help him now, we can actually buy the shoes.
Yes.
And he'll get a payout for it.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
So I want to
agree
see
with
the
that.
details of the agreement. Not a lot has been said.
I was trying to look.
I don't know if he got a large lump sum. I don't know if he's getting a percentage of sales. I don't know. Is this like a trial and then there's going to be a new agreement? I don't know. I got nothing. But that's what has been said, that Kanye and Adidas have reached a brand new agreement only for the remaining inventory.
Yeah, I was just looking to see what they said, but you're right. There's not really a whole bunch of information about.
I mean, it would be dumb for Adidas to give us a lot of information.
Right, and they basically said they couldn't destroy the shoes because of sustainability issues.
Sure.
And I mean, there are people in need. They said something about giving it away, but I don't know why they
Sure.
didn't give it away. They probably should have.
They didn't give it away because they care about their bottom line.
Of course.
It's the same reason why they're going to do the deal with Kanye again.
But of course,
Because they told investors, we lost X amount of money.
Right.
And we're about to lose even more money. And I'm willing to bet that those investors was like, hey.
You better sell the.
You sign whatever deal you got to sell. You do whatever the
So
fuck
we
that
can get
guy
our money.
needs so we could bounce back.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I'm just saying they brought up giving it away.
Yeah, they brought up a lot of shit.
And that's the only reason why I'm
They're
even
full of
pointing
shit.
it out. But
No, you're not wrong. I'm just saying that's why they didn't do it.
yeah.
You said, I don't know why they didn't do it. And so that's why.
No, you're right. Well, speaking of entertainment business.
No, I'm just playing. What's up? Where are we starting? The Creed verse?
No.
Okay, great.
No, let's start with Black Entertainment Television.
Oh,
Okay.
you got the inside scoop on this
No.
one?
No, I do not have any inside scoop. I am here
Come on, man. You're supposed to make phone
on
calls.
my own.
You up here on pods saying you got the connect. You're gonna call your connect.
I never said that I didn't make any phone calls. I said I am here to speak as someone who went on the internet and found information. I do not have any insider information to share. All I will be speaking about is the rumors on the internet. That is it. And honestly, I don't know. Yeah, it's a rumor, but when you start seeing rumors in the trades, like CNBC posted this, the Hollywood Reporter posted this. When you start seeing this, it's something that you should pay attention to because it does mean that something is happening, right?
Something.
Business doesn't get leaked that easily.
It
Unless
ain't a
someone
Kanye text.
really wants that information to get out.
That's right.
So what we're talking about is the fact that over the past week, it has come out that Paramount is shopping b.e.t. around.
Yep. We might buy it. Nah, I'm just playing.
Nah, listen.
I'm kidding. We ain't got no money to buy that.
Paramount is apparently saying, I'm trying to pull up the article, but Paramount is saying that they feel, okay, these are the key points from CNBC.com. They said Paramount Global is exploring a sale of a majority stake in b.e.t. Media Group, which includes b.e.t.'s cable network studio, b.e.t. Plus, and VH1. And just in case anybody is wondering, b.e.t.'s cable network and studio, b.e.t. Plus, and VH1. And just in case anybody is wondering, when they talk about b.e.t.'s cable network, they are talking about b.e.t., they are talking about b.e.t. Her, they are talking about b.e.t. Jams, and b.e.t. Soul. So there's a lot falling under that umbrella there. Mm-hmm. And then it says Paramount executives believe selling the business to a consortium of wealthy Black investors and institutions may unlock opportunities and value, according to sources.
That's what the article says.
Yep.
Got it.
And then it says a sale which may not happen is not suggestive of a broader strategy to sell Paramount in pieces, sources say. Which, that was the part that stuck out to me.
Yeah.
Because they're basically saying, we want to get rid of b.e.t. We're good with the rest of our titles. That's the way I took that.
Or we're going to slowly start unloading shit we don't believe in.
Sure. Think it's
and b.e.t's at the top of the list.
I honestly think it's the same thing. I think it's really interesting now, knowing that, and this was something we had on our list, but we didn't get to, but VH1 moved over to the b.e.t. umbrella a few months ago. Like maybe at the end of the year. So not very long ago. But it's almost like they were setting this up.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So that they could do this sale.
Yes, listen, you got to shuffle the cards.
And to be perfectly honest, I've always thought that VH1 should have been over there.
Okay.
It makes sense. The content is
Love and Hip Hop.
Well, not just Love and Hip Hop, but the content that has run on VH1 for many years is widely centered around Black people. It is
all the love shows,
Love and Hip Hop, all of the shows that have come out, Basketball Wives. There's a long list. Even their scripted programming, it's all centered around the Black experience, around Black celebrities, around Black music. So it always felt like it had transitioned. We know historically VH1 was like music. It was almost like another arm of the MTV brand.
Yeah.
It hasn't been that for a really long time.
Yeah, it's just reality shows.
It's reality shows. It's more of that type of content. Like I said, there's some scripted content there, but everything. T.I. and Tiny is on VH1 or was on VH1. Like all of those shows seem like they should live together, or at least under the b.e.t. brand. I think the thing that has always been tricky for b.e.t. is that b.e.t. has this like moral struggle that goes on where, you know, they want to create good content. They want to create content that people want. Sometimes that means content like what's on VH1, but they also need to maintain a certain level of integrity in order for Black people to continue to trust the brand. And over the years, a lot of Black people have kind of strayed away from the brand because they feel like maybe the content isn't good enough or not interesting enough. But at the same time, if you were to put anything that you think is remotely exploitative of Black people on b.e.t., the same people would complain that, oh, you're exploiting us why are you doing this? So I think that BET has always had that issue, or for a long time has had that issue. And I think VH1 was absolved of that moral conflict because it wasn't BET. So everybody looked at it as, well, it's happening over there, but it's not us doing it to us. But
it was.
But it was us doing it. I mean, it is. But that's why words mean things, names mean things, because when people see BET attached to certain things, they're like, oh, no, BET can't do that, you know? So I think this is a good look. I think take VH1 as it is, put it under the BET name, put it under the BET umbrella. You can continue to produce the same type of programming, but the sting is not as deep if people feel like it's not exactly the same thing, right? So that's my opinion on it. Let me also point out the two people that have been named, the two names
I was
that
waiting
have
for you
been,
to finish.
the two names that have come up as a part of this conversation, Tyler Perry and Byron Allen. Tyler Perry, I mean, we know what Tyler Perry does. I feel like both names are big names, but I feel like the one you hear more
is Tyler Perry. We
know Tyler Perry has his big studio out in Atlanta.
Yep.
I'm sure a lot of BET's programming already gets filmed over there because everybody's
doesn't he do a bunch
programming.
of BET Plus stuff?
He already has his deal with BET and BET Plus, where he creates programming specifically for the BET brands. So there's a lot of alignment with Tyler Perry. Byron Allen owns a bunch of radio stations and TV stations, and I think Byron Allen owns Weather Channel, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure he does. So he's not a stranger to the TV game. He's not a stranger to any of this.
And he doesn't really need. It don't really matter. I mean, if he's teaming up with Tyler Perry, he don't really need to be as hands on.
Right. Well, and they haven't made that completely clear if this would be. It seems like based on what
everything I've seen is that they're buying it together.
It's a joint venture.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's just them. I just think those are the face. They're the face of it. So I would be curious to see what other, because they specifically said investors and institutions, and I'm really curious about what those institutions are that they're speaking about. But what do you think? Like, what do you think about? Because what this would mean is that BET would become black owned again.
Well, I don't have any real feelings because I don't watch TV. And I mean, I haven't. The last thing I watched on BET was probably like BET Uncut when we were teenagers.
Right.
We haven't been teenagers in quite some time.
Speak for yourself.
We're the same age. Stop it. And so, half my lifetime ago, it was probably the last time I actually was watching BET intentionally. Not like at someone's house and it was on. And so for me, it doesn't really mean anything. I know.
Uncut will never come back, by the way.
Oh, I'm not saying I want Uncut to come. We don't need Uncut to come back now. There's OnlyFans and YouTube and all this other stuff that
people have asked for it to come back.
Oh yeah,
I
don't know why. I mean, now it's all right in your phone.
People have asked for it to come back. People always.
But those raunchy videos are on the internet.
That is the one thing that people question. Why did it go away? And
because they wanted to have clean shit. They didn't want to have.
No, that's not why it went away. Oh, you want some insider information?
Wasn't it because it was too raunchy for investors?
So
they wanted a cleaner image.
I won't say who, but there was a specific advertiser.
Right.
That it was so long ago, I'm sure I can say this. There was a specific advertiser that landed in the show, and they have it's an advertiser you would it's an advertiser you would absolutely know. They have a very clean brand, a very clean image, and somebody from that side of things was watching television and saw one of their brands run in the show and that was basically the beginning of the
Yeah,
end.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's more detailed, but yeah. So
Yeah.
my point is I don't watch TV a lot, so it would be. Listen, let me be clear. I'm very cool and always supportive of Black empowerment and of Black ownership, and so that's great. Like I'm glad Diddy has Revolt. Revolt is doing a bunch of fly shit. If Tyler Perry and the rest of these people team up and buy b.e.t, great. Besides that, I got nothing.
I mean, I'm not really.
It's a win for us. I'm cool with that.
I'm not really speaking to the program. I guess I'm not speaking to the programming part of it because I can't say that I avidly watch b.e.t myself. I can't even say that I watch VH1 at this point. I think years ago I used to, but these days I don't. There might be a couple of one-offs here or there that I'll check out, but no, I don't really. I don't really watch it in that way. Like, I might catch the b.e.t Awards when it comes on, or the Soul Train Awards. You watched it this year.
The b.e.t
We reported on the b.e.t Awards.
Oh, but I mean regularly. Like I don't watch any award show regularly.
I don't usually either. But,
I watched it this year because, like I said on the pod, I just happened to be somewhere, and the awards were on. I was like, oh, I guess I'm watching the awards.
Well, you know, we do a pod where we talk about these things.
We do.
So I try to keep up with
and you do great with that.
This sort of thing at this point, and
you do good.
My point is, I don't know if I'm really asking too much about the programming itself. I guess I'm just, you know, it's been so long since b.e.t fell under the what used to be Viacom brand and is now Paramount Global. It would be a huge shift. It would be a big change. It would be a great undertaking for whoever takes it on.
Right.
And
you think Tyler Perry's gonna do it justice?
My concern.
Talk about it.
My concern is, well, in terms of programming, I would love to know what programming will look like.
Oh, Medea.
It's already that. I think it's already that. I think that that's already happening, right? I think that there's what they have now seems to be a healthy balance between Tyler Perry's programming and whatever other projects they have. And then I think when you're talking about like regular run of network type of things, meaning the shows that like the sitcoms, the syndicated sitcoms that run throughout the day, I think Tyler Perry is all up and through that as well. So I don't think it'll look that different in terms of that, but yeah, like how will it shift? How will it change certain deals that come up later on or certain types of programming that people are trying to get greenlit?
Right. I'm
wondering what that looks like. I'm also wondering from a business standpoint what it looks like, because we saw Essence leave Time Warner, and Essence is a magazine. I know it's more digital now, but Essence is a Black brand.
Yes.
Essence left Time Warner, was sold to a Black owner, and Essence is not Black owned again now.
Gotcha.
And so I just wonder, long term, what does this look like? And I don't know what could happen. I don't know enough. Like I said, I have no insider information on any of this. But long term, what does that look like? Is it sustainable? I'm sure they have enough money to do it. If they didn't have enough money, they wouldn't be having the conversation. But long term, is it going to be a good look? Is it going to continue to be something that they can sustain, or is it going to be something that ends up having to be bought out by Paramount again? Or, I mean, it's based on that CNBC article. I don't think Paramount would be the one buying them again, but you never know. But then there's also other big brands. You have the other NBC Universal or one of them that may be interested in it. So, so I'm just curious to see what that looks like long term, and we won't know for a long time. We don't even know if this is the sale is real. Now, what I will say about that, and I kind of said it before, is that the fact that it's in the news, something
things
about
are
this is real.
Yeah, things are brewing.
Yeah.
You know the show Boondocks? Mm-hmm. They did a couple episodes about b.e.t.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know.
You know what they called b.e.t? You know what they said b.e.t stands for?
What? Tell us.
Black Evil Television. That's how they said it on the show.
Yeah. Listen, people have a very complicated relationship with the b.e.t brand. That is...
It's this lady who she's the CEO in the she's the owner or CEO, something like that. She's supposed to be. She sits at the head of the long table probably, and she goes, "Here at Black Evil Television." Every time, that's how she says it.
By the way, Deborah Lee, former CEO of b.e.t, just put out a book, or the book is coming out this month. And she's currently on a tour, like she's been interviewing, whatever. And I heard the book is juicy. I just wanted to point that out just in case, whoever, is watching or listening, likes to read. I don't remember what the book is called, but apparently, like, she talks about her career and she talks about her time at b.e.t. And she talks about, some of the, she talks about her relationship with Bob Johnson. Because I didn't realize that, I guess I never put it together that they were married, but she talks about all that stuff. So I just thought that was interesting. I heard about it recently and I was like, oh, this is all right. If anybody is interested in some of that backstory, it's in her book. Very interesting that she put all that stuff in her book, because it doesn't seem like her personality, but...
Hey, you never know.
But when it's in a book, I always feel like when you're writing it down, it's kind of like people on the internet where you feel very free.
That's right.
It's
Twitter fingers.
It's Twitter fingers. It's not the same as when you have to, like, tell people about things. So,
this is true. Yeah,
that's my little... I thought that it was important for us to point this out, because... this would change the landscape of Black television in a very big way.
It could.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see. Honestly, though, at this stage in the game, and after Paramount Global has said what they said, if I was like at the head of b.e.t or whatever, I would probably want to be sold at this point, because it sounds like they don't want them.
Yeah.
And... Anyway, and we're back.
All right, we're back. Had to take a short break. Too much water and coffee. I had to go, water bills and stuff. But we're back, and we're gonna hit y'all hard now.
$100 million.
Is that confirmed? Because I saw something that said 58 million.
I saw 58, but let me just double check.
And I know 58 million was supposed to be opening weekend. But I also heard 100 million. I just haven't seen 100 million anywhere.
Yep.
Confirmed?
Oh, no. Oh. Yes. Internationally, globally, it's $100 million.
Okay, that's what counts. That's it.
Yes.
All right. Well, made sure I wore my boxing shirt. So we could talk about this hard-hitting action. Or lack thereof.
And the ass and titties.
It was ass and titties in Creed? What movie you was watching?
Oh, I was watching Jonathan Majors and Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, that's ass and titties?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Changing the lens. No, what is it? Changing the landscape. That's what's going on here. All right, so let's just get right into it, because we dragging our feet here.
We are.
So, all right, Creed 3 came out. Highly anticipated movie. It came out a couple days ago. The 3rd?
It came out on the 3rd, yes.
Okay, so it came out a little less than 2 weeks ago, and no, not 2 weeks, a week ago, last weekend.
Last weekend. So it's been
Damn, they made $100 million quick.
It's been over a week. Yes, that's between the U.S. and globally.
Oh,
So
but that's only in a week. That's good.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I took baby girl to see it last weekend. That was Saturday. Yeah, a weekend. So it's been out like 12 days.
Yeah.
Or less than that. 9 days.
Mm-hmm.
Math is not my strong suit.
$100 million, and it is also currently the highest grossing sports film
Ever.
ever.
All right, so big things going on. So let's start with the movie came out. $58 million. $58 million domestically. Mm-hmm. As a whole, globally, over $100 million. It's doing great. It already broke all the records for sports films. Mm-hmm. And, yeah. Written by Ryan Coogler and someone else. I don't know his name, but who gives a fuck? And, yeah, you care about the other person?
Indifferent.
Yeah, fuck them. For me, not fuck them because there's an issue. I want to focus on the fact that Ryan Coogler wrote it.
Yes.
That's what I want to focus on. So.
Yes. Written by Ryan Coogler.
Right.
Executive produced by his brother and some other person.
It's a lot of executive producers. That's another conversation.
Yes, but
including Sylvester Stallone, which I found really interesting.
Who is not in Creed 3.
He's not involved at all, but I guess because of ownership, they had to put his name in. I don't know. We'll find out or not find out. I guess we'll see. But the movie came out, Creed 3. Mm-hmm. Obviously, if it broke all the records, you know it's the biggest box office hit for the Creed series. This is the third installment, and a lot of shit has happened since this has come out just 9 days ago. You want to start with the announcements that are being made and the rumors that are going on, or you want to start with your thoughts on the film? Where you want to start?
I guess we should give thoughts on the film, and then we could talk about where it's going.
All right, was this the best Creed movie of the three?
No.
I agree. I do not think this was the best of the three.
But I thought it was solid. I thought it was a solid movie. Yeah, I liked it. Like as a whole, I thought it was great. I do think there were certain things about it that I didn't really care for. I felt like it took them too long to get to the root of the conflict. Like maybe we didn't need it, right? It doesn't change what happened, whether we know it or not. I just like when I'm watching a movie or a show, I prefer it the other way around. I prefer when me as the audience knows something that maybe characters in the movie don't know, rather than me being the one who doesn't know.
Like what? What do you mean?
So I'm trying not to give it away because the movie just came out. But in terms of Dame is Jonathan Majors' character. Adonis is Michael B. Jordan's character. Dame and Adonis have a history. And they kind of like tell us part of the story, but then don't tell us the whole story. And it takes a while to get to what really happened, what the real story was.
Oh, okay.
And that was frustrating for me.
Wait, you trying to do this without spoilers?
Oh, are we spoiling? I mean, we can. I don't have a problem with.
Yeah, I was getting ready to go off.
My business. Yeah, I spoil everything.
Yeah, I was getting ready to go off. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, we can speak freely.
All right, so if you haven't seen the movie, you should probably skip ahead. Probably
next.
About 20 minutes, because that's normally how we do.
Right.
So skip like 15 to 20 minutes. Come back after you've seen Creed. We about to spoil the whole shit.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, so Dame just got out of prison, right? And he goes and he finds Adonis, and at first it's not really clear what Dame is looking for. Over time, we realized that Dame is actually the villain. I mean, we knew going into the movie that he was going to be, but over time we realized he doesn't really have Adonis's best interest at heart. Like, it's almost like he has a grudge.
Yes.
that is fueling everything that he's doing in the film.
Yes.
And that grudge is with Adonis.
Yep.
What frustrated me was they start to tell us what happened. What was the thing that landed Dame in prison?
Right.
And how did him and Adonis go their separate ways?
Yes.
They start to tell us, they show us part of it, and
Yes.
then they stop.
Yes.
And then they move on with the current story, and we have to kind of go through the motions. There's a bunch of flashbacks that take us back to that moment, and you see bits and pieces, and you can kind of, I mean, I think anybody who's savvy and like into storytelling and into movies or TV, you can kind of piece certain things together, right? Because
yes.
you know, it's not that hard. But I was frustrated with the fact that we had to kind of wait a while for them to get to, hey, okay, so this is exactly what happened. This is how what you saw an hour ago ended.
Yes.
That frustrated me. Because I didn't need
12 flashbacks.
I didn't need all the flashbacks. You could have just told us what happened.
And
then we would have made peace with what happened and been like, oh, okay, I totally see why Dame is upset. Totally see why Adonis is where he's at. I get it. And we could have continued. The same movie could have happened without all of those flashbacks if they would have just done the one flashback with the entire story.
Yes.
That frustrated me.
Keep going.
It did. I also feel like, I don't know, you go.
Sorry, that reminded me of my daughter. Because my daughter be going in on our pod, and she'd be like, yeah, that's what I think. Okay, you go. I'm like, that's it? That's all your thoughts? She goes, no, but you go.
You go, because then, let's do dialogue, and then it'll jog my memory to other things. That,
all right, so speaking of my daughter, what's interesting is I took her to see it.
Yeah.
She wanted to go. Actually, it ended up being a whole squad of us, but after the movie, we're walking home, talking about the movie, and she said, Dad, it's messed up. Like, why Mama Creed had to die? I said, yeah, I didn't like that either. That was kind of pointless. And she looked at me and real serious. She said, Mama Creed died. What she said? She said, Creed lost his mom and Black Panther. That's messed up. I said, and at first, I'm going to be honest, I was looking around like, what the fuck that got to do with anything? But sometimes, as parents, we gotta shut the fuck up. Because you know what it do have to do with each other? Ryan Coogler wrote both movies.
He did.
And so, I realized...
She's a smart kid.
she might be right.
She made that connection.
Because when she said it, I was like, but baby, they're two different franchises. She said, yeah. But... Oh, she said, but Michael B. Jordan is in both movies.
Right.
I said, okay, that's true. But really, Ryan Coogler wrote both films.
Yes.
That's the deeper, darker Criminal Link. Yeah.
Right.
And so she might have had something there. Like, what's up with Ryan Coogler killing the old ladies?
Yeah. Well, okay. So, totally understand.
Because Mama Creed, there was no reason for her to die. It felt like, to me, there's no Rocky. We're going to get rid of Mama Love. And then it's a whole clean slate. All the old people from the Rocky films are completely gone.
I think that's exactly what he did.
Even the scene where we see Drago, both scenes, you don't see his pops.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they were doing.
So I think this was like...
This was a setup.
This was the sweep.
And I told you off pod that I watched an interview with Wood Harris.
Yes.
Who plays Duke.
Yes.
And Wood Harris said, this is all a part of a big, which I guess we can get to it, but Wood Harris said Ryan Coogler has been working on this story for probably the better part of a decade, and this is not the end. So it would completely make sense that it's time to get rid of some of these old people. Basically what Wood Harris said is this conflict between Dame and Adonis was a way to springboard the next plot line, basically.
Yeah, I mean, so it's not a surprise. I remember a while back there was a rumor that they were doing a Drago movie.
Okay.
And we didn't know what the details of that were, but it seemed like after number 2, we're going to find out what happens next with him.
Okay.
And so I was not surprised to see Drago in number 2. But yes, that makes sense. I could see that Drago could do a movie, going back to my daughter, because she, well, you know, we watch all this stuff on Disney Plus. She said, you know, Dad, what they really should do next, I know I tell you this already off pod, but she said, you know, what they really should do next, she said, it should be a series, because I don't want to sit in the movies for 2 hours and watch this. But if they did a show, like a couple episodes like the Marvel and the other shows, I'd watch it. But they should do a show about what happened to Dame when he was in prison. And she said even if it was just centered around him like boxing and training still, she'd be interested in seeing that story. And I was like, okay, girl,
I would be interested in seeing
you might have something there. And so there is room.
We got a young TV writer
in
the making.
You know, just trying
because I would totally watch that.
Yeah,
that was
so
very smart.
I think that they know that. So there's room to. What they've done in this film is create a lot of room for other things.
Yeah.
There's a young guy who's the champion in the beginning of the film. Drago is the number 1 contender. We don't know how the hell that happened. It's been 3 years since his retirement. They flash forward.
Yeah.
Dame is now the former ex-champion.
Right.
The daughter is trying to be a boxer. That's 5 movies right there, or a series, or something. And there's other shit.
I think it would be really easy too to create a series around the daughter's story.
Yeah, or even the guy who Ricky Tamlin or whatever it is, the guy he beats in Creed 1 and then beats in this film in the beginning. Yeah. He went to prison at the end of number 1.
Yeah.
We could get a whole story about him being in prison, his coming out of prison, him going back through the ranks of boxing to go to be the number 1 contender to fight.
Did he cross
Creed at the
paths
beginning?
with Dame?
Did he cross paths with Dame? Probably not, because it was in the UK.
Oh, okay.
His thing was overseas, remember?
Yeah.
So, lots of interesting things that could be, developed from there, stories that can be told from there. Even when they do the like Showtime 24/7 thing right before the Dame and Creed fight, they say that Duke Jr. and Creed have like this entire stable of great fighters now. That's a show.
Yeah.
And really, Michael B. Jordan don't really even need to be in it that much. He could just make small cameos. Yeah. And then there's the whole thing of Michael B. Jordan becoming like the Don King, quote unquote.
Right.
Or really the Floyd Mayweather, quote unquote. And so there's a lot of stuff we could do here. Yeah. They could do here. And so I don't think it's bad that Amazon who's the owner of MGM now, during COVID they purchased it. I don't think it's bad that they're saying they want to do more stuff. But I gotta be honest, and I already said this to you off pod, I know that this comes from Marvel. I know that all of the big studios are looking at what Marvel is doing and saying, hey, we want to do that shit. Yeah. Even Disney bought Star Wars, and they're kind of doing a lot of things with Star Wars that are similar, not the same, because Star Wars has a lot of internal problems. But they're doing a lot of things that's more universe oriented and not like just the main story. Yeah. You see that with DC trying to do the same thing. They failed. Now they're going through this whole relaunch. My point is, I know that everyone is seeing the success of Marvel and the billions and billions and billions of dollars that are coming in, and they're saying, hey, I want that. But everybody don't gotta be Marvel.
No, I agree.
I don't think people realize, and this is where DC fucked up, I don't think people realize how hard it is to accomplish that.
And I've talked on Hardly, I talked a lot about the fact that I'm fascinated by the fact that you could get that many people speaking about, like, the people who write this stuff, the people who have to come up with ideas. Like, I know that there's one person who spearheads it all.
Kevin Feige.
Yes, but it's without him, sure, it doesn't happen, but without a lot of people, it doesn't happen, right?
Correct.
The way they have figured out over the past decade how to interweave these stories, and we could tell when they're being a little lazy.
Like Phase 4.
We could tell when they're being a little lazy. We could tell when they're running out of ideas. We could tell when, you know, it's time to shift because they need to revive. Those things are obvious, but the fact that they've even been able to get to a Phase 5 to where there is that much content that all somehow works together is not only incredible, but it's almost unfathomable.
Unfathomable.
Unfathomable. I don't know. I couldn't say that.
It happens.
So, yes, I agree that one of the biggest concerns with other studios trying to do this is that, or even other stories trying to do this, is that
it's easy to fuck it up.
It is hard to make a sequel that is good.
Yes.
And we even talked off pod about how there's probably maybe a handful or maybe a couple of handfuls of sequels that have been better than the original movie. That doesn't happen very often.
It does not.
Sequels, and over time, if you have enough sequels, something's gonna go awry. Even if they're going well, something's going to get weird, because again, there are all these people that have to contribute to this. There are all these ideas. And at some point, you do get to a point where, like, you've exhausted a lot of the ideas. You trying to come up with what is new and fresh and engaging. And let's be honest, the reason Marvel can get lazy in Phase 4 is because they've kept people captivated from Phase 1.
Yes.
So once you've built up that following too, it gets even weirder because they have the reputation to stand on. People will still sell out the movie theaters.
Yes.
So, I don't know. I think I'm excited to see what the next chapter of this looks like. I know they're talking about doing series, they're talking about movies, they're talking about anime, because there was a lot of that sprinkled in the movie in Creed 3. Now, I don't know anything about anime, so I can't really speak to that, but I know that this has been a conversation even before the movie came out with the Jonathan Majors shoot that was done.
Yes.
Apparently Michael B. Jordan is very into anime.
Yes.
So
the anime, their scenes, a lot of the fighting scenes were inspired by anime. Mm-hmm. Michael B. Jordan has been very public about his fandom of anime, his love for anime. Mm-hmm. And so that is where he kind of took the directing style. A lot of the fight scenes, like the super zooming in and the way that the effects were, the fight scene with them like being in black and white and alone, which I fucking did not like, but we'll get to it. It was alright until it ended. Like when it was happening, I was like, this ain't my favorite part of the movie, but I guess it's okay. And then when the shit ended and it was like, wow, what an amazing end to round 11. I was like, wait, what? Yeah, that was rounds 2 through 11? Now, see, that's when it became like, I didn't need this.
Yeah.
I didn't like that shit.
Yeah,
But that was inspired by anime as well. And so, so because of that, Amazon has already said they're also interested in doing some type of anime series.
I just think that scene went on too long. I didn't have a problem with the scene happening. I just think it was way too long for what it was.
Well, if it's rounds 2 through 11, it has to be lengthy.
I understand that.
Which is why I thought it was trash.
But because of the fact that it's kind of like this thing that's moving away from the film itself, in a way, I think it just went on too long. I think,
And the grunting and roaring? Like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, the timing of it, I think the timing of these things have to be really well thought out, because if it goes on too long, then someone like me is like, oh, let me see if I have any texts, or
Go hit the bathroom for a break.
hit the bathroom,
Refill my popcorn.
Right. I think that it's very easy, unfortunately, like we live in a time where it is very easy to get distracted, and I just feel like that scene went on too long. It wasn't so much that I didn't like that it happened. I thought it was a little strange, but it was more for me that it was too long. It was too long. And I understand, to your point, that rounds 2 through 11 would have to be a little bit longer, but to me, it just
To me, that's why it shouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
Why would you give me, that's rounds 2 through 11?
Right. And this is the fight that we've been waiting for. Like, this is the part of the movie that everybody is.
This is why
we're
went to the
here.
theater. Yeah, that's why people went to the theater.
This is why we're here. And now you've kind of, I don't know.
Who did a better acting job? Jonathan Majors or Michael B. Jordan?
Okay, so I just want to start off by saying that they played two very different roles in the movie.
Sure.
Their characters were coming from two completely different perspectives.
It's a lot. Y'all hear all that bail? Y'all hear it? It's a lot of grace right now. It's filling the room, all the grace.
However,
just keep it real, son.
I'm going to tell the truth. You know I'm going to tell the truth.
Well, let's have it.
I feel like, as far as performance goes, and if this movie gets nominated for awards, I'm curious to see.
I don't know how it would, but okay.
I'm just saying, if it does, I don't know. The Hollywood loves Michael B. Jordan.
And they're starting to love Majors.
Jonathan Majors. So it's very possible that it could come up for consideration next year. We don't know.
Sure.
I mean, we're still very early in the year. There's a lot of films that have not come out yet, so maybe it won't be. I don't know. But let's say that they were up for awards and the two of them were neck and neck. I would go with Jonathan Majors. I think that Jonathan Majors performs, and maybe I'm just biased because I really like his acting style. I really enjoy seeing him. Like I even we talked off pod about his role as King the Conqueror in.
We spoke about it on pod.
Did we?
Yeah.
I can't remember. But I talked about him being in Ant-Man and the Wasp, and
how he's good at being like sinister, but soft at the same time.
So this is not exactly the same, but I felt like he does the same thing. Like, he does a really good job at kind of like selling it, but also being really cool about it at the same time. Like, his whole demeanor it's like he has a quiet demeanor, but you don't really see it coming. And that's what I like about his act. Like, the last two movies I've seen him in, I've been like, oh, okay, because I did not know that. I know that going into it, like I said, we all knew that they were gonna be at odds. We didn't know why. Right. So when you first get into the movie and they first see each other, things are kind of cool between them. But you could see it's like he has this look in his eye where you're like, I don't think we can trust him.
Right.
And I think that's a great villain make. Like, I think that's how you set it up. Those are the building blocks right there. So I would say better performance. I would go with Jonathan Majors on this. It's not that Michael B. Jordan didn't do a good job. I just feel like Michael B. Jordan had a different task. And if you're asking me whose task was more interesting and who was able to sell it more, I think Jonathan Majors was. Just easily, honestly. And that's not any shade to Michael B. But
I think Jonathan Majors stole the show.
Oh, he did an incredible job.
I think he did a great job. I think we got to see his range in this movie. Mm-hmm. We got to see him be funny, charming, humble, angry, sinister, you name it.
Oh, he was all of the things.
He was all of the things. Mm-hmm. And Jonathan Majors, he was the part. He had the walk, he had the talk, he had the style, he had it all. In this film, it seemed like Jonathan Majors was the star. It didn't seem like Adonis Creed was the star of this film.
I think he was supposed to be.
Well, I was going to say maybe that's on purpose.
I think that's on purpose.
But to me, there's some movies where I think Dark Knight is a great example. Mm-hmm. Where in the movie Batman Dark Knight, Heath Ledger stole the show. Mm-hmm. However, Christian Bale still acted his ass off, so you still knew it was a Batman movie. Mm-hmm. It still felt like Batman was the star. It just was like, man, this Heath Ledger guy, like, shit. He's really giving him a run for his money. I don't know who I would choose if I had to vote. Mm-hmm. That's not the case with this film. This film felt like, yeah, Michael B. Jordan was cool. This guy did a way better job. I give you another example. Southpaw. Mm-hmm. Jake Gyllenhaal. That's how you pronounce his name?
I think it's Gyllenhaal.
Gyllenhaal. JG. You know what I'm saying? He was doing a great job in the film. Mm-hmm. But there's a point in the film when Forrest Whitaker turns it up.
Listen, Forrest Whitaker is always going to turn it up.
But in the beginning of the film, well, you don't meet Forrest Whitaker's character till a certain point in the movie.
No, I get that.
And in that point, he's cool. He's, it's just chilling. He's just doing what he does.
I just love Forrest Whitaker.
Me too. But there's a certain point in the film when Forrest Whitaker turns it up and you like, is this about to be Forrest Whitaker's movie? Because this just got real crazy real quick.
Yeah.
And even though that moment happens, Jake still demands the attention and does what he has to do, so you know, hey, I'm the star of this motherfucker. Even though that's a seasoned OG I can never even compete with. And he's doing his motherfucking thing to boost this film.
Right.
It's clear that I'm still the star. That was not the case with Creed 3.
But now that we know that there are building blocks being set up, and now that we know that they have this long-term plan for the Creed brand, isn't it possible that that is what they intended to do, that they wanted to prop up this character, that they wanted to kind of start removing Creed from the main stage, like they wanted to stop centering him so that someone else's story could be told? Because that's the impression that I'm getting, that they very intentionally pushed Dame to the front. Now, in terms of acting and like selling the show, yeah, Jonathan Majors.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
I know, but I'm saying I think it's a combination of the two. I think that Jonathan Majors is an amazing actor, and I think that showed in this. But I also think that I don't think it was ever intended for, and maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think it was ever intended for Michael B. Jordan to stand out in this specific film.
But to me that's a problem. The movie's called Creed.
Yeah, but
it's not.
I mean, it's like the Captain America movie that ended up being all about Avengers. I don't remember which one it was.
Civil War.
It was not about Captain America at all. It was about the Avengers. But
okay,
it was a setup, right, for a lot of other things that were to come. So I kind of feel like, because that's, as you were giving the examples,
but who was the star of that movie?
Everybody.
Okay. I feel like even though Civil War is a chaotic, crazy, great film,
it was great.
You still know Captain America is the star of the film. Yes, it was setting
disagree.
things up for Black Panther to come in and for people to betray each other and all this other stuff. But Captain America was still the star of the show.
I disagree, because I even remember when I watched it, I even called you up and I said, but isn't this a Captain America movie? Why Why they should have just called it an Avengers movie. I hold on to that today. That I think that
people do.
movie should have been an Avengers movie. I don't think it was a Captain America movie at all.
A lot of people feel that way.
So that's all I'm saying.
I understand.
But I understand why Marvel did that.
Yes.
Is kind of my point here.
It was setting up a lot of other shit, like you're saying about this film.
Right. So
my
that's
problem
thought
is,
process there.
It's a Creed movie. Creed should be the star. It should feel like Creed is the star. I did not feel like Creed was the star of this film.
We should also point out.
Now, he was an important foundation. This film could not have happened without him, sure. But did he command attention and be the powerhouse of the film? No.
But also, Michael B. Jordan directed the film.
That's what I was about to say.
And had to direct himself.
Difficult task.
So, also, that was the second thing I think I said to you off pod was that not only the setup, but also if you are in the movie and you are directing the movie, you probably tried to make it so that your work as an actor was a little bit less than it would normally be.
Right.
So that you could focus on directing the film. And
he did a good job directing. I don't want to take away from that.
Yeah, I think he did.
I don't want to take away from that. This is a monumentous debut for your debut to be $100 million and break records. That's a great start. And I know he already loves Ryan Coogler, but man, you should really love Ryan Coogler at this point because he alley-ooped that shit to him.
And I think it's hilarious that people are like, oh, Lori fumbled the bag. Lori didn't fumble anything. I just think it's silly. But her name is coming back up again because I think that people are looking at him and going, oh, okay, Michael B.
Okay, I'm glad you said that.
Uh-huh.
And so, right when the movie was coming out,
yeah,
there was a big conversation about Michael B. Jordan being corny.
Yes, because of the girl he went to high school with that interviewed him on the red carpet.
It was actually not her, it was her co-host, which came out later. The woman who interviewed him and he quote-unquote checked is the co-host of the woman he went to school with who made fun of him, and then they made fun of him when they interviewed him on their show.
Right.
Cool. People said he was corny. People said he'd been corny. Cool. I'm not going to debate that. That's up to other people. I don't even care about that. But here's what I do care about and I think is really fucking dumb. People are on the internet saying, oh, look what this corny nigga was able to do. I guess corny niggas break records.
What? Who said that?
Listen, I'm seeing it
no,
on the
I
internet.
I guess corny niggas are in the comments. That's what I guess.
It's saying like, yo, salute to the corny Michael B. Jordan, like as a mock. People are saying, like, to big him up, they're saying, salute to corny Michael B. Jordan for directing a great film. Let me explain something to y'all. You can still be corny and be great at what you do.
Frank, being corny,
I just want y'all to understand, being corny has nothing to do with your skill level in your field. You could be super corny and be a great songwriter, super corny and be a great supervisor, super corny and apply any job title. Well, they don't have a motherfucking thing to do with each other. They do not intersect. There are plenty of corny people who are great at their jobs.
Listen, it's so funny you say that because one of the things that Wood Harris said, they asked him about this whole corny red carpet thing, which he handled it well.
I mean, he's a vet.
He was like, well, Mike is 36. He says, so Mike probably thinks about corny the way that I, think about corny. He's like, I'm a little bit older than Mike, but he said back in the day, corny would mean like, you didn't have like the flyest clothes, or, you didn't like, the girls weren't really checking for you or whatever, something like that. So he gives like his description of what, when he was growing up, what corny meant. He's like, feel like, these days things mean different things now, right? Like people's interpretations of things are a little bit different now. But he was like, I think Mike handled it well. He was like, I think that there's a sentiment that Is it wrong? And I guess this is where I'm going with this. Like, I want to ask the question. Do you think it was wrong for him to point out that he was called corny in high school?
Yes.
You do?
That's corny.
I mean, yeah. But
that was corny. That was him trying to shit on them. And listen, that's corny.
Yeah.
When you're on top, you don't need to tell people you're on top. It's clear that you're on top. I don't have to come on here if tomorrow I made we did a deal. Let's say tomorrow we did a deal. We got paid $100 million. I don't need to walk around and be like, yo, yeah, nah, I'm gonna do your interview, but remember you called me broke though? Yo, fuck you, because you called me broke. Why? Why's that? I don't need to be like, yeah, you see this suit? Yeah, nah, yeah, you know, Dapper Dan custom made it. Why? Because you're fucking corny, that's why. When you're good at something, you don't need to tell people you're good at it. Well, you don't have to walk around and say, hey, I'm the man now, ha 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 ha. You don't need to do that. Now, here's what I don't understand. Why is this a conversation? I think people have a hard time accepting what they are, including Michael B. Jordan. I didn't want to talk about this here. I feel like this is not a topic for here, but you asked, I'll answer. Yes, I think that was corny. Do I know if Michael B. Jordan is corny outside of what he did in that moment? I have no fucking clue. I don't follow his personal life. I just know the roles that he's done and done a great job of doing. And I applaud those roles. Great films. And him and Ryan Coogler, I feel like together they cannot miss. I've said that before. But in that moment, was he corny? Yeah. Why is him being corny a conversation when there's mad other shit going on? I feel like people, in the words of Dre, major in the minors. Who gives a fuck if he's corny? It doesn't matter if he's corny. Guess what? Everybody still want to fuck him. Everybody still want to pay him to act. He's still making millions of dollars. It's not stopping anything. Michael B. Jordan should accept that he's corny for that. I don't know about anything else in life, but that shit was corny. And it made him look like he proved the point. To me, if somebody says, hey, you know, you be doing some real suspect shit, I be seeing the way you be looking at girls. I seen one time you try to grab a titty, but then you moved your hand because the camera was there. And then we see you do the same shit. Guess what? It looked like that's your style.
Yeah, but I would argue that some girls calling you corny in high school versus him being called corny for pointing it out at his big age now is probably not the same thing. I agree with the fact that
no, I disagree totally.
What? Hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
I agree with the fact that you don't. It's not worth it to him to call it out today. I don't think it is. What I do think is that people are human, and I think that this thought that there is no one who is ever going to try to, I guess, get a comeuppance on someone who treated them a certain way is just not realistic. I think that, sure, if it's corny, it's corny. But the reality of the situation is Michael B. Jordan honestly showed us how normal he is in that moment, because I think there's plenty of people who would love to run into somebody who shit on them back in high school so they could show that their life changed. I'm not saying it's not corny. I'm just saying that's something that I'm sure that there were plenty of people who could identify with Michael B. Jordan in that moment, because there's plenty of people who have been bullied. I don't know what the situation was. I've heard people talk about this more than I've actually sought out the real story.
But
I up to now have not heard exactly what was said. I did not hear his apology. I know that he apologized or whatever it was.
See, that makes me even more mad. Go ahead.
Or maybe I shouldn't call it an apology because I know that he came out and he said something about it. I know that he spoke about it. I know that she also spoke about it, I think, on her podcast that she does with the person who actually said it. But outside of that, I didn't really seek out any of this information. This is all I've heard. But I do see, I could see where someone would be like, oh, it's you. You're the one who, oh yeah. Funny how life is that you're interviewing me.
But why you wait till the cameras are on to say that? You agreed to do the interview.
Did he know it was her?
Of course he knew it was her.
I don't know who called out who. Like, I don't know if she said, oh, we went to high school together. Or...
That's not who he went to high school with, and that's my whole point.
I thought he went to high school with both of them.
No. That's the whole thing. The woman does a show with someone else.
Right.
The someone else is who called him corny. Back in high school.
Oh, I thought it...
And so it's like me and you doing this show.
Uh-huh.
And so now you see Michael B. Jordan. And he's like, oh, ain't you from that whack-ass podcast where the dude said I was corny still? Why? Why are you... What's the point? You know why? Because you're corny.
Well, maybe I didn't have enough information. I don't know.
They were on the red carpet. They went to do the interview. Even if he didn't know. Even if he just turned around and was, oh, it's you. He didn't say, no, I don't want to do the interview.
No, he didn't.
So you stood there and agreed to do the interview.
Well, because he wanted that to happen.
Because he's corny.
Which is
in
fine.
that moment. I'm not saying all throughout his life. What he did on that red carpet, that was some corny shit.
And I guess the only thing that I'm saying about then versus now is typically when a girl calls you corny in high school, it probably don't have, like, it's probably not that deep, right?
But fam, think about this. High school. Let's say it was right before senior graduation. You 17 years old, 18 years old. Right? How old is Michael B. Jordan today? 36, 37? Fam, so you still thinking about some shit from 20 years ago?
Yeah.
You know why? Because you have an identity crisis. Because you haven't accepted the shit that's going on. You know what Michael B. Jordan is worth today? You directing great movies. You a star in Marvel. Mad shit. You getting crazy checks, crazy stuff. You just finished dating who everyone thinks is the hottest chick on the planet. Not me. But who everyone is sweating. The woman no one will shut up about. You just had a great relationship with her, allegedly. So you got the flyest woman, all the money. Now you're directing what you know is a hit because you directed the movie. You know what's about to happen. You had the Amazon meetings.
But he's also...
And now you still think about that shit?
But he's... You know why?
Enough to call her co-host out for it? That's mad corny.
You know, okay, maybe I misunderstood the story and the way it happened on the red carpet. So, and my apologies to anybody watching or listening if I don't have all the facts. But, now I forgot what I was going to say.
Corny.
No, I was just going to point out the fact that Michael B. Jordan has been acting since he was a kid.
Yeah.
So, I hear what you're saying. And I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not disagreeing with you that it isn't corny. I'm just wondering if you started acting when you were a kid, you were on whatever it was, General Hospital, All My Children, whatever the soap opera was that he was on. That's where he got his start. Then you do The Wire. Okay,
that's where we know him.
That was short lived. I remember him when he was on whatever soap opera it was.
Wasn't he on some Nickelodeon shit too?
Yeah, so he's had a very long career, but and I guess we don't really look at him today because it's been so long. We don't look at him as that kid from back then. But I'm also thinking to myself, yes, he's 36. Yes, it's been something like 17,
it's been 20
18,
years.
Almost 20 years. So is it possible that this is like that stuff that stays with you because you never really get a chance to get over it? Like you go from being a normal kid to superstar actor. Like he launches into his career as he's in school? Is that why he never evolved from that? It's kind of like when we talk about child stars and how there are a lot of child stars that have had some difficulties as they become adults because of this life that they kind of get thrown into. I'm just wondering if that's the reason why that even means something to him today. I would be curious. I don't know. And, that's between him and his therapist. But, yes. Is it corny to now go and call somebody out? Sure.
But you're not even calling out the person. That's my thing. Like, people are making an argument that he's justified. I don't think he's justified. But even if he is, that's not even the person. Yeah. That's like I see your sister 10 years from now and be like, oh yeah, you the sister of that bitch that did blah blah. What? Right.
I thought he had gotten the women mixed up or something like that. I don't know. I would have to look it up, and it's not really that important. But
that shit is corny. Again, I'm not saying he's corny throughout his entire life, like a lot of people are saying. I don't know. I'm not passing judgment on any of that. I don't even know where that's stemming from.
And that's the other thing. A lot of people talk about how he is corny. I've heard.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't know those things.
It's kind of like John Legend. How a lot of men in particular talk about how corny John Legend is, and John Legend is this, and John Legend. I think John Legend is pretty dope.
This is what I'm saying. I don't follow none of this stuff. Like, that's why
Oh, your favorite podcast used to talk about it all the time.
I missed that. I must have missed that. I don't have any knowledge. No, I believe you. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I mean, all I know is what he did in that moment, it was corny, yes. And again, like my original point, you could be the corniest motherfucker on the planet and still be great at your job. I don't know why people are trying to mix the two and include, oh, the corny guy, blah, 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 killer movie, oh, the corny guy directed, blah, blah. Yo, fam, one has nothing to do with the other.
It doesn't.
Zero.
Well, okay. I mean, I don't really know what to... Speaking of petty, Chris Rock.
Ooh, I was going to say... Good segue. I was trying to think, like, speaking of corny, you know what was corny?
Petty. Chris Rock.
Petty is better.
Chris Rock's live special happened last week. It's called Selective Outrage.
And it was the first Netflix live streamed event.
Yep. Ooh, okay. Cramp in my leg. So,
it was Netflix's first live streamed event.
Hosted by, I think it's in conjunction with their brand, Netflix is a Joke.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, he did his live show. A lot of people said, I'll preface this by saying, for anyone who did go see him while he was touring, or has seen him while he is touring, because I think he's still touring, but a lot of people said that this was largely the show that he's been touring with a few edits, namely the Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith stuff.
Yes.
So we've both seen it. What'd you think?
Okay, before we get to that, that's a lot of people's criticism that this was the same stuff he did on the tour. Mm-hmm. I just would like to say to those people, that's what happens when people do specials. They go to a tour date, and it just so happened, hey, this one's the special. It's the tour. It's the same thing. Even in Eddie Murphy Raw, which is one of the biggest and still record-breaking numbers of tickets sold comedy specials, he says in the beginning of the film, hey, I just want to let y'all know, all this lights and shit in here, yeah, they recording. So all of y'all gonna be on my special, but only I'm getting paid for the motherfucker. Okay. They just showed up. People didn't come to the quote unquote special.
Right.
It was just, hey, such and such comedian is coming to our city and we bought tickets. That's it. So the people criticizing that this was the same material, well, then you didn't need to watch the Netflix special because that's what was gonna happen. Like,
but that's
comedians
also a
tour. Right.
Even for a musician, even for a Beyonce, I know I've heard that she switches it up. Like, she has her, way of switching it up so that every show might not be exactly the same. But they rehearse the same choreography. They do the same songs.
It's the same show.
It's the same show. That's what a tour is. That's why you can see the tour in Atlanta and I can see the tour in New York, and we saw the same show.
Yeah.
We didn't see the exact same show, but we saw the same show. That's a tour. That's anybody's tour.
Right.
So I don't think that should be a criticism. The only reason I'm pointing it out is because again, I think that some people who did see it were like, oh, I didn't end up watching the whole thing because I realized it was the same. And that's understandable. I think it was worth it for those people to watch it, to see what they missed.
Right.
But I wasn't one of the people who saw it before, so it was all new to me, and, was what it was. Now, what did you think?
It was okay. I don't have much to say. There wasn't anything special about it. Mm-hmm. He waited until the end to give us what we tuned in for. Mm-hmm. I didn't see it live. I saw it afterwards, which everybody was like, "Oh, I have to watch it because I don't know if it's gonna be available." Y'all are dumb. Like, they suckered y'all because a Netflix. If you know anything about Netflix, is Netflix gonna keep some shit on their platform. Unless you're Dave Chappelle and you're their number one cash cow, they ain't removing shit. So yeah. It did great numbers streaming, and they bamboozled y'all because it was available right after on the platform. So I watched it not live, and there wasn't shit special about it. Like, I have watched other Chris Rock stand-ups. This was not his funniest stand-up. This was not his best stand-up. There was a lot of weird stuff. Like, he kept saying okay after all his jokes. Why do you need to keep saying okay after all your jokes? It made me feel like your jokes are not really landing. Mm-hmm. Something was up with his shirt. He kept touching his shirt at some point. Like, I don't know if it was like...
I think he might have had a wardrobe malfunction or something. And you know when something like, I don't know, your button falls off or something like that, and
you're conscious of it?
You're very conscious of it for the rest of the night. I also know I mentioned to you that I know that when people perform, especially I notice with some comedians, is Dave Chappelle has his stuff too. I can't remember right now what it is. And sometimes I think it's even when he's smoking his cigarette, like they do certain things to focus. So he was even doing things with his fingers. I think it helps them remember their jokes too. So I didn't know if that was that or if it was a wardrobe malfunction. The reason I say it could have been a wardrobe malfunction is because when you look at the way his shirt was buttoned, it looked like it wasn't buttoned. It looked like they almost had to like clasp it together in some way. So that might have been why maybe normally he keeps his shirt open, but maybe there was a reason they had to close it. I think it might have been something like that.
Yeah. It was
That's
weird.
What I assumed.
Nah, I don't disagree. I just don't know what it was, but that kept catching me off guard. Like, I even rewound it a few times because I'm like, did he touch his shirt again? He touched his shirt mad times. Yeah. So I don't know what it's about. Maybe it's what you said. I don't know. But that stood out to me more than the jokes, to be honest. I'm like, wow, this dude really touching his shirt the whole hour and change. Like, it's interesting. The special was cool.
I just wanted to go back real quick to your talking about the fact that it was live and people watching it live versus watching it when it shows up. So I watched it live because I worry that when television is live that it'll get edited before they post it, right? So that was my reason for watching it live. I didn't want to wait and then miss something that they felt they might have needed to take out in progress. Because that happens, even with award shows, actually, that happens.
Absolutely. Where
you watch it, like, let's say maybe you did catch the live stream, or maybe you did catch a live moment, and then you try to go back to it later on and look at it on demand, and they take out some of those pieces of the show.
Absolutely.
Sometimes, maybe not for Netflix, but sometimes when it's on regular television, it's because they're also modifying it to fit ads and things like that. But I was concerned because I'm gonna be real honest, and you know this already, like, I'm not a stand-up comedy girl. I don't care for it. Like, I could watch it, I could not. I tend to take recommendations from the people I know who do like stand-up comedy, but outside of that, it's not something that's a priority for me. So, like, I watched it because of that. Or else it wasn't going to be something that I would have run to. I also, do 2 podcasts, so I figured
Content.
This is something that I needed to know about because this was going to be something that everybody was going to be talking about, right? So, just wanted to point that out because that was my concern that they were going to edit it down, and it wasn't going to be the exact same show that people who saw it live got.
Got you. Yeah, I don't have much to say. I think that the Will Smith jokes were not funny. They were not great, I should say, because some of them were funny, but they weren't great. It was hard to get through this show. I dozed off more than once and had to go back and rewind. And not because I was super tired, because it just wasn't super entertaining. Yeah, and like, two things. Like, one, saying you spent all your millions of dollars on pussy, and you will always spend all your money on pussy. That was some corny shit. And that was weird.
Speaking of corny.
That was going to be my segue. But yeah, I thought that was really corny and untrue. Like, nigga, you got bills and shit. And kids, you say you're putting through all these expensive experiences in schools. So I get it. It was an exaggeration. But that was really, really weird. Like, I'm not even knocking people who trick because that's your business. But to put it on blast that, hey, listen, I made millions and millions of dollars, but I spent all of it on pussy. And if I had to, I'll spend it all again on pussy. And that wasn't funny or cool. Like, that was really fucking weird. That was really fucking weird. And also weird, and I'm jumping around.
Yeah.
I got parents. And my parents taught me, you don't fight in front of white people. Boom! Slams the mic and walks away.
It wasn't a mic drop moment.
First of all, you don't slam dunk a microphone. You do it gracefully. That's how you mic drop, Chris Rock.
You gonna pick up the shit you drop on my floor.
I don't know why she won't let me cook. I just be trying to chef up the pot, and she mad about me dropping a pen on the floor.
Niggas be throwing shit on your floor. What are
it
you
was
supposed?
A pen.
Like, what are you supposed to do? Like,
it was a pen. I didn't throw spaghetti on the floor.
Respect my house.
A pen?
I'm just fucking with you.
I'm over here cooking.
So cook then.
But then why
put
you
it back on the grill.
No, I said the food is cold now. It's over.
Put it back on the grill. Keep it going.
That's not how you mic drop. That's number one.
No.
Number two, that was not a mic drop joke. I got parents, and my parents told me don't fight in front of white people.
Which is also problematic, but
What? First of all, well, this would be third of all now. I don't believe that that's true. Second of all, whatever, just next point, that's not funny at all.
No, there was nothing funny about that.
And
for that to be the last line of the show and for him to like make the point to drop his mic or to slam his mic, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, that wasn't...
It's just weird and not funny. I don't understand. There were funny moments throughout the special. I'm not saying the special was trash. Man, no, there were funny moments. But that's what you ended with? You saved Will Smith to the end for that? It was funnier when you said, people ask me, does it hurt? It still hurts today. That was way funnier than my parents told me not to fight in front of white people. No. That was a whack-ass ending.
Yeah, it was. I thought that some of the jokes were stale. I felt like some of them were dated. And I understand that like he's been touring for a while now.
Yeah, but the OJ jokes.
The OJ jokes.
This is not 90 whatever.
Even the Kardashian sisters, like even joking about them to me today, I don't feel like it's as relevant as it was maybe 5 years ago.
Yeah. And a lot of the callbacks weren't good. Keep calling back to the free smoothie. Why would you get a free smoothie at an abortion clinic? That makes zero fucking sense. Why didn't you say a free abortion?
It would have been funny.
They put you on a date with another person's baby moms. They could have came up with mad other shit. Like, a smoothie? What did that have to do with anything?
Yeah.
And then what was the other shit he kept saying? Oh, touche, my nigga. That wasn't funny either. Like, you kept calling back to your daughter and the French language. Like, touche is all you got? You could have said oui. Like, I mean...
And here's the thing.
You could have had mad other shit to say.
Here,
like,
I'm going to use someone
was
else's...
there another callback he said?
I think
Those are the main two, I think.
Those were the main ones, though. But I
They were
think
not good callbacks. And then I'm glad you got it out your system as a man. I know sometimes when you're angry, you want to call a woman a bitch. I get it. But that's it? That's all you got? 12 bitches? I was like really disappointed in that.
So...
I don't care about him calling Jada Pinkett a bitch. But I don't know why it needed to be 12 times. Especially if you're on tour. So you just needed to call her 12 bitches every night? It's weird. I'm not mad at it, but I don't understand it. Like, I think you should have focused on funnier jokes about her if you were going to talk about her. But...
Which he basically used that moment to call back to why he was upset with her in the first place. And that's what I felt. I said on Hardly that I felt like that was petty. That was corny. I'm fine with the jokes and I'm fine with... He was going to come out and he was going to say something about them. I don't... Even the fact that I know a lot of people were mad saying, oh, you know, he calls her out her name and whatever. And while I feel like, okay, he's directing a lot of his anger towards her and she's not the one who slapped him, I totally understand that he was going to get on there and he was going to speak about them and he was going to say negative things about them.
Sure.
So that wasn't shocking to me.
Oh, that's what we all wanted to hear.
That's what we were there for. That wasn't shocking to me. It was just the part where he like went like way back. Like he went further back than the slap. And it was like, oh, well, this is why, like basically this is why I don't like her. And I was like, but...
I think for context that was necessary.
Okay.
Because a lot of the people who tuned in and saw the slap didn't know about the prior incidents. Okay. And part of Will Smith's apology tour was like, this guy keeps fucking with my wife.
Okay.
And so, I'm not saying I agree. Again, I already gave my thoughts on his jokes. But I think that was necessary to paint the picture he was trying to paint. Mm-hmm. Because if you just tuned in and saw the slap, it's like, I don't know what just happened.
Right.
And so I think for him, he needed to contextualize the situation and explain how it got to its boiling point. I think he was trying to speak on both parties getting to their boiling point and how they got there. So her with the whole ban, Will not being nominated, the jokes dissing, whatever, concussion, and then Will with, the cheating allegedly or whatever.
Well, they say that they're in an open marriage, so there's...
Well, they haven't said shit until all of this happened, so that's another conversation.
Well, it had always been rumored that they were in an open marriage, and Will confirmed it in his book, I believe. So
sure, which came out after this situation.
Right, but it had always been... That's why I'm saying it had always been rumored that they didn't owe that to us to tell us that prior to the situation or anything like that.
It doesn't matter.
But I'm gonna take someone else's opinion. Not really, you're not taking their opinion, but I think this was a good way of putting it. So Van Lathan said that he felt like it was a bunch of contradictions. Yep. And I saw that.
Saying I'm not gonna be a victim, but then acting like a victim.
Acting like a victim, or him saying that he loves his kids, but he doesn't like them, but then later on saying he likes his kids. Like, there was just a lot of him, like, saying things. Van ended up saying it was almost like he no longer knows who he is. So
someone else said the same thing.
So now he's writing these jokes, and there is just like a bunch of contradictions.
Someone else said that because of the trans jokes and some of the other things, that he seems to be lost and trying to find himself somewhere between Dave Chappelle and Kevin Hart.
I could see that.
And that he's trying to figure out which comedian he should be like. And so he's stuck somewhere between both of them.
I could see that. And then the other thing that was pointed out was that he is trying to, instead of just saying things, he said, "Oh, I like trans people," and then threw it to someone else to take responsibility for whatever negative things he said next.
Yes, I heard the same thing.
And I agree with the perspective of standing your shit. If you're gonna be a comedian, if you're gonna be a comedian of this caliber, someone that people look to really give us a show and really go there and really push boundaries. Are you pushing boundaries if you're pushing off the things that you want to say on other people? Like, you wanted to talk about trans people, and instead of you just speaking about trans people, you put it on your brother.
Yep.
Or you wanted to talk about rich kids and how you feel about them. Instead, you put it on your daughter.
Yep.
Like, it goes on throughout the entire thing.
Yes, it does.
The only thing I think he took responsibility for and took a stance on was paying for pussy.
Yeah.
And that's corny.
I mean,
That's whack to me. I just didn't care for it, and I really wanted to talk to you about it because I know that I've gone to stand-up shows before and not laughed at anything. I've also seen stand-up shows that I thought were really funny and really engaging and really intriguing. I think, again, you're there to push boundaries. You're there to kind of challenge social norms.
Yes. And
I just felt like a lot of it was dated, like the Lululemon talk and all of that. I just feel like like that era, he sounds like someone who like was writing his jokes a long time ago and, didn't tune them up for today.
Right.
And that was frustrating to me because I'm like, well, even if you wanted to like age these jokes, you wanted to continue to use them, you could have tweaked things. Like, you could have talked about the fact you wanted to talk about the Kardashians, you wanted to talk about Robert Kardashian being a lawyer. Why didn't you instead of talking about OJ, why don't you tie in the fact that Kim Kardashian is trying to be a lawyer? Right. Like, I don't know. Again, I don't think that I'm the right person to critique any stand-up. But this was just where I was at. I was like, well, okay, but OJ?
Yeah, that OJ shit, I was like, all right, I gotta get up and take a walk or something, because I can't believe we talking about OJ and the original OJ shit today. Like, he didn't even say some new OJ shit. It was like,
he didn't even mention
that OJ shit.
He could have mentioned OJ, people talking about how OJ is Khloe Kardashian's dad.
Mad
he
shit.
could have made that joke, and honestly, that joke would have been stale too, but it would have been a lot more current than the one he made
from the 90s. Yeah. No, I understand why you wanted to discuss it. I'm a big fan of comedy. I like stand-up a lot. I watch a lot of stand-ups. I own a lot of stand-ups. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe not a lot, a decent amount I own. But I didn't think this was a good special. I think it was a good business move.
Of course. Oh, absolutely.
He knew he had to deal with Netflix. Uh-huh. When all of this happened and people were trying to interview him and shit, he said, y'all not going to get a word from me until I get paid. And I think
that's fair.
It was a great business move for both him and Netflix. Mm-hmm. Maybe it has zero replay value. Mm-hmm. I'm saying maybe. Maybe somebody feels different. But it don't matter because he got paid. Mm-hmm. Netflix got paid. And Netflix accomplished what they wanted. They have great numbers for their first live event. And the new rumor is, it was said on a news program, but they said that off the back of this thing, and it happened right after, so Netflix must already had this in the bag. Meaning it must have already been signed and ready to go. But there's some award show that Netflix is going to be streaming next.
Yeah.
That's the next move. So This was a great way to launch their live stream. Clearly, they're trying to compete with other people and get into a different field because they know what's happening with HBO Max and Disney Plus killing their subscribership. And so this was a smart move. And I think that's the focus. Like, forget about the comedy special. For me, the win for Chris Rock and Netflix was the business dealings.
Yeah, so they're gonna, it's the SAG Awards that's gonna start.
Saul was right.
You were right. That it'll start streaming.
We don't gotta tell the date. They didn't pay us.
Right. So, what I did want to point out that we did not talk about off pod or here yet is that there was an after show. The after show is not available.
Oh, okay.
The after show was only for that night.
Okay.
So I watched the after show and I thought.
So then that gives them breakout content if they choose to.
Exactly.
That's smart.
I have a feeling that will probably live somewhere on their YouTube. Netflix is a joke because they had all the signage for Netflix is a joke on there. So I figured that's probably where that's going to live. A lot of, even though I don't watch a lot of it, a lot of Netflix's comedy stuff lives on that YouTube channel.
Yes, it does.
Netflix is a joke. So
I didn't know they owned it.
Yeah.
I see it a lot when I look up comedy stuff, but I didn't know that they owned it. So that's really interesting.
Yeah, it's them. So, really quick, it was a panel of comedians,
Okay.
It was a panel of, they weren't all comedians. Okay, so it was JB Smoove, it was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Dana Carvey,
Okay.
David Spade, Yvonne Orji,
Great name.
and Arsenio Hall. They were funny.
Yeah.
And I was very entertained. I laughed more watching this and watching them talk about his jokes or talk about, and they didn't totally talk about all of his jokes. They kind of would use the jokes he told to springboard into other conversations or tell their own jokes.
That's a great way to do an after show.
Yvonne Orji, I thought it was funny because she said, well, I think she's 35 if I'm not mistaken. She pointed out her age, but she was like, and I'm a new homeowner, and she's like, what he was talking about women needing the roof fixed. He was like, oh, she was like, oh, that completely resonated with me because that is absolutely true.
Right.
You know, she said something like, do you know how to clean gutters or something like that? She said.
Right.
Arsenio Hall, damn, I can't remember what the joke was, but there was something that the two white guys on the panel did not want to touch.
And he took it.
And he took it, like he asked them the question, and they were like, and he was like, actually, I have a joke. And they were like, wait, you just asked the question so you could tell your own joke. And he was like, yes, actually, that's exactly why I did it.
Arsenio's not new to that.
Right. So I think they did a really good job at kind of bringing it all together.
That's a great way to do an after show.
It was really funny.
I don't like a lot of this after show and fake podcast shit that these companies are doing. But that sounds like a great way to do an after show.
After show should be live, and here's why. Because, okay, you're not going to care about this, and you probably didn't care about it when it was happening. But I think that this is a really good example of this. So maybe about, I don't know, more than 10 years ago, MTV used to have a show called The Hills. The Hills used to have an after show. Like all of a sudden they randomly started doing this live after show, kind of like the way Bravo does Watch What Happens Live, where after their show, it's a daily show, and it comes on after whatever their nightly content, it comes on after their primetime content. So maybe it's a housewife show or Below Deck or whatever is on their roster. And Andy Cohen has guests, and he not only talks about the shows that just aired, but he also talks to guests about what's going on. They play games. They do all this stuff. Live after shows, to me, make the most sense. Mm-hmm. You want to catch people when they're in the moment.
Right.
And I guess it's hard because if you're not consuming content when it's streaming or when it's live, then it makes it tricky. But when you're talking about something that aired live, an after show is a perfect thing to do because people are there already.
Right.
You know, they're excited about it. You want to hear people talk about it.
And it's fresh on their mind.
It's fresh on their mind. I'm sure that's why they decided that they're not even going to leave it up there, because they probably realized that the after shows, because Netflix does after shows for certain shows that original content that they have.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know that anybody really watches them.
I mean, I'm not hip, so this is news to me.
Yeah, they do it for some of their shows.
Gotcha.
They do. But yeah, I thought it was really funny and I thought it was great. And I think that is, if you're going to have a show run, I would totally do the after show immediately after. And I think it works. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on this. I just, I thought it was okay. The same way you said it was okay.
Yeah, there wasn't nothing special about this special.
No. No. Well, that's all I got.
All right.
This is a very long pod. This is longer than the last 2 we did.
I don't know about that, but we'll see.
Okay. All right. Well, rate, review, and subscribe. LHRC Pod on the socials, and we'll be back in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Adios.
Bye.